Welcome back to another episode of R&R with RTZ with your host, Ariba Azad, and I'm married to a short king.
No.
Okay, I'll go next. This is Prithvi, and I recently came to terms with my identity. After a long time just fighting the truth and like running away from it, I finally accepted it. I'm a coffee person.
Glad you
I'm
came.
a coffee drinker.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm Tuheen. I have always been a coffee drinker, and I guess I might have to accept that I might be a short king.
Woo! Short kings.
Oh yeah, I'm that too.
Listen, tall kings are the worst because they're just always talking shit and looking down at you.
Yeah. And I'm Raheem Tizamon, and today the T stands for tie the knot. And I am not a short king. I'm an average king.
I was going to say,
Boring.
the T stands for tall.
I'm not going to lie to myself. No. So like the T stands for tie the knot, we're talking about weddings again, I think. And we're talking about all the weddings that we've covered as photo and video people and all the crazy stories that we've encountered from them. Let's get into it. Rest and relax while we rant and ramble. R&R with RTZ.
Okay, I just want to set the record straight that Nicolas Cage sucks, and I am not Nicolas Cage, and
That's a
Raheem is
crazy
short
thing
king.
to say out of the
Short
blue.
king,
Out
short
of the
king.
blue.
You need to
What does
provide
that have to do with
context.
weddings?
First of all, Ariba
Raheem wants to
is
marry
the reincarnation of Nicolas
no,
Cage.
reincarnation. He's not dead.
He's not dead.
The viewers
but-
need context.
I'll give you context. We're talking about weddings and marriages today. Well, Raheem thinks he married Nicolas Cage, but really what happened is I married a short king. Period.
Something Nicolas Cage
Period.
would say when he's blowing out. When
And this all started
my
because
God. Nicolas
Raheem
Cage
started
is not
noticing.
a good actor. People just hand out Oscars to anybody nowadays.
to you
Clearly.
as Nicolas Cage reincarnation.
You know, if that's the case, then I can walk around
Nicolas
and say,
Cage just
I
opened his
won.
mouth. Somebody give him an Oscar right now.
Why are you?
fuck?
Why are you related to Nicolas Cage?
So I've
Because-
noticed that Ariba does that thing where she like talks really high, does a voice, and then goes really low in one
Nicolas
sentence.
Cage did not make
Very
that.
colorful.
Really
He did not
colorful,
make that.
crazy.
He didn't create that.
What is often cited as Nicolas Cage's signature acting.
No.
So- Yeah.
No.
The context is that Raheem started noticing a lot of similarities between Ariba and Nicolas Cage.
and
And
Raheem
it
has
makes
In
sense
mannerisms.
because I
and
love
Raheem has
Nicolas
a problem.
Cage.
Yeah.
And
And
you
yeah,
know,
it makes sense.
And he
I'm
loves
fond
me.
You know,
of
you
Ariba.
seek out the qualities that you love
Just say it.
in your
Exactly.
partner.
Say you love me.
Say you're Nicolas Cage.
Say you love me first.
Say you're Nicolas Cage.
You say it first.
Yeah.
Say it.
So if he says I love Nicolas Cage, that would mean
Yeah. I love Nicolas Cage. I love you, Nicolas.
This is Schrodinger's Nicolas
Whoa.
Cage. Isn't she or not?
Which is
the
also
cat
why
dead?
she always attacks a Nicolas Cage pillow between
He's
Prissy and
so
Theresa right now.
hideous, and I'm so mad
Because she's
that I
attacking
bought him
herself, you know?
Oh my God.
She's not happy with how she looks like, which is something Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage would say, you know?
that. So, weddings, right?
I also, just real quick, I also love that before every podcast that we do, we just make sure that Nicholas is like situated and comfortable. And
He's
like,
the
okay, now we
fifth
can start.
member of this podcast,
Yeah.
He's the worst member. Oh, you know who's tall? Nicolas Cage. And you know who's not? You.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
how tall is he?
I don't know. Taller than Raheem. Which doesn't take much, but like
Watch
still.
Long Legs, now in theaters. Nicolas Cage's latest.
Oh my God, that's why he's in that, because he has long legs.
Not
That's
sponsored by
that. Yeah, that is the plot.
There, you get one.
Thank you.
There you get one. All right, back on topic. Weddings.
K-pop? Yes, weddings.
I'm going to
Okay.
kick you out, I swear to God.
You know what weddings need more of is
K-pop?
Love.
K-pop dances. Yes.
Love.
There's a lot of
Damn.
Always use more love.
That's also true. A lot of love. Love
Bars.
is needed.
Not saying it was missing, just saying you could always have more.
You can always have more.
You know what weddings need less of is don't invite your guests to your long ass 50-hour ceremonies, because none of us want to sit through that. Invite your immediate family and that's it. And then invite us to the rest of it. That's not 50 hours long.
I beg to differ. Those uncles that are recording the whole thing really
Yeah.
want to be there.
I'm not talking about the uncles, I'm talking about us. Please don't invite us to those ever again.
No, invite me. Don't invite Nicolas Cage over here.
Yeah.
Raheem's
I
the
got
one who
mixed- I got
complained.
mixed
He
feelings.
fell asleep during the last one we went to.
I got a good nap.
You could have gotten a better nap on in your hotel bed.
What kind of reception or wedding?
So she's talking about out of context for the people. Who
I
are
didn't
not
want to say
listening.
who, but that's
No,
Not
it's
who.
traditional in South Indian weddings to have very long ceremonies, right?
Oh yeah, it's just like, yeah.
I'm looking at you. I don't know why I'm speaking for it. You
Fact check.
talk.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it
There's a few different kinds, and I'm not like super knowledgeable on it, but there are a few different kinds. There's like some that are more religious and some that are more secular. And from my understanding, the closer you are to secular on the spectrum, the shorter amount of time it takes.
Oh.
And you can have kind of like
I
combinations
want to go to
of different.
those.
Yeah,
The
so
shorter
some are really long, like if you're doing all the traditions and stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
I know people do like abbreviated versions now, so depends
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
kind of who you're
Yeah.
going.
And
So-
no, like, disrespect to it. Do your thing, man. But, like, don't invite those things.
But Ariba.
Invite me.
Us. When she's saying us, she's talking about her and Nicolas Cage.
Literally,
Her
I
personality.
literally mean him
not
and I.
me
because
and not Rahiba.
he was the first one to complain, and then
It's-
I was like, oh, he's complaining out loud. I can
Yeah.
complain out loud.
Clement should be longer. So
No,
take
and
a longer nap.
look, like I've been to some of the long ones too, and by the end, it's like a marathon, right? If you look around, even like people in the crowd, like uncles are on their phones.
Yeah,
Like,
Everyone's on Twitter.
There's like many different conversations happening as the
Yeah.
ceremony.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think people
I
understand.
feel bad
Yeah.
that, like, if you're inviting all these people, you want them to watch, right? But clearly, no one wants to.
I mean, that's just part of the
But
game.
no,
It's
but
tradition.
Yeah, I
I feel
think
bad
it's
that
like-
everyone's talking and, like, you know
You-
what I mean?
yeah.
Like not paying attention.
You're not paying attention. I personally,
Yeah.
as the bride, would be like, wow, none of my guests want to be here. Why
I
am I
think-
inviting them?
I think you have an alternative to wanting all those people to be there, but like entertaining them.
But if they're all
Yeah.
gonna talk through it, then I
There's
can't.
a limit to how loud your voices should be, but I
Yeah.
still gotta be understanding because even the bride at 2 hours in was like, all right, I want to move as well. Like, I
Yeah.
want to talk. It's understandable.
That's true.
I filmed some South Indian weddings where we were there at the crack of dawn, 5 a.m., 4 a.m., because that was the most auspicious time for the wedding. And like these people, these specific weddings were like they had to have a specific time at a specific place in a specific angle of the room.
Oh, yes, that's
for
true.
That was the most auspicious everything, and so we had to. There's one wedding where I filmed it in a Hilton hotel, in like Herndon, and we had to film. They had to face the corner of the room. It was a nice room, but they had to film it, and they had to stand in the corner and do everything because that was the best angle.
Auspicious.
Auspicious, yeah. It was just a really weird angle. We had to like live stream it too. So I was like, if you're watching this podcast, if we were situated like this was the angle they're all facing in. I was in the corner trying to get a live stream of their faces. Otherwise, I'd be getting the back of their heads the whole time. So it's such
Damn.
a strange angle.
Yeah.
And it was really weird. And it was like 4 a.m. We were there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
I feel like American style buildings are also not accustomed to the location changes of certain weddings that do expect certain areas you have to pray in.
Yeah, because the traditions come
within.
from like you're in a village
Yeah.
and the homes are like open and
Yeah.
you're traveling from like one home to another. Like the Bharat, for example,
Mm-hmm.
is like you're going from the groom's home to the bride's home. Replicating that at like the Hilton is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
is
You
gonna
go
look
down the
really
street,
strange,
yeah.
like in a
Definitely.
modern
You start
context.
at the Dunkin' and then you
Yeah,
go down the street to the Hilton.
I think it's cute that we're like not cute, but like
No, it is.
I think it's
cute.
wholesome that we're like maintaining these traditions
yeah.
and just adapting them to a modern.
And the
Like,
bar.
oh yeah, we'll just
How
go
these
around the
things survive.
parking lot.
If you keep
Yeah,
doing the same thing culturally,
Yeah.
it's not gonna all survive.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing with language
Here for it.
too. If you don't speak your languages at home, especially as a first generation to your own kids, then the language dies too, and that goes with your culture.
yeah. The internet does not count for oral history. We must.
No, yeah, definitely not. No, it's true.
The machines will take everything from us.
I will say, I think the best part of Indian weddings that I've been to is the Bharat, because like you're all out there dancing around, and I mean the last one we went to was Kavi and Anuja's, and they had the giant horse, which was so cool, and it smelled, but like it was cool.
For context, the Bharat is one part of the ceremony of the wedding weekend. Indian weddings, South Asian weddings are a whole affair. But that's the one where the groom pretty much comes into the wedding hall, but it's a big spectacle. They have a big party outside where the groom's traditionally coming in, like old times, it would be like an elephant or horse, but nowadays it's like a fancy car or whatever. And they have a DJ outside, drummers, and they all play, and everyone, the groom side is all there partying, and then they come in to the wedding hall where the bride's family and bride's side is all welcoming them. There might be some more ceremony once there to help welcome the person, but it's pretty much a big outdoor party.
It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's like the families meeting each other.
Yeah.
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 And the horse thing is really cool.
Yeah, if they get a horse. I think I've only been to one wedding with an actual horse.
I've been to a wedding with an elephant.
I love when they do
In
like a
Bangladesh.
Ferrari because then they're like, oh, it's a horse.
It's a motor horse.
Yeah, like
How many
yeah.
horsepower?
How many horsepower? Yeah.
it's like that dad humor where like, oh, we got him a horse.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
You know what I've really noticed? A lot of American weddings are at barns. Now, I have a question for the people who film weddings. The weddings that are at barns, do you think they would do it at barns if everything else didn't cost so much money? Or do you think they genuinely want to do it in a barn? Because
I think it's
we went to a barn wedding.
I think it's
as
both.
guests.
One, people have done it for so long; it's just culturally part of Western
American
American
culture?
weddings.
Interesting.
And two,
American.
I think it's just part of the style. Like it's nice. It's away from everything else. Not a hotel. So you can get some isolation, some privacy.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
Cottagecore wedding.
Yeah, and then you get the whole space for themselves, which is kind of rare. Without spending, I'm assuming, so much more money for like we got a hall, and that was
The
crazy.
hall, yeah.
I'm sure a barn is significantly less.
Did you like
yeah.
the barn wedding that you went to?
Well, I didn't because it was raining that day.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was not the best vibe, but I mean, it was cute. It's just, it was
barns
also
can be
just
nice.
very, very, very simplistic. But I think most American weddings are also very simplistic.
Simpler.
Yeah, they tend to be on the simpler side.
I went to a barn wedding in 2020. So this is due to COVID, I guess. They decided to do outdoor. So they went with the
okay,
barn. It was like a mixed wedding.
Mhm.
My friend's Salvadorian, his wife's like American. And I think her family's like from like the farm area of
Okay.
I forgot what state. Anyhow, I thought it was a cool wedding. Like
Okay.
it was like because they used like the more or less the entire state, more or less. So they did like the, the IDs and all that on like
Mhm.
the field, and then they did the like cocktail hour in like what
Wait,
used to be what?
Did the building look like a barn or an estate?
No, it's a full barn.
Okay,
like it's
okay.
it's like land in like Percival, you know.
Okay, okay.
That
okay,
is.
okay.
So like they did like cocktail hour and stuff like that. In the part of the barn that used to be where they would milk the cows.
Mm-hmm.
So they turned that into like a cocktail bar area, which was interesting. And then they took the upstairs part of that barn and used that as like the recital hall. So they had tables and everything, and they did their
Oh,
dance and everything.
Yeah.
And then they had barbecue, which you gotta have barbecue.
Oh, yum.
So it was good.
Oh,
That's how
Barbecue at a
that's-
wedding.
Yeah,
That's
I like
how the
that.
barn wedding we went to. Jesse's wedding was also like the downstairs was something, and the upstairs was something, and there was like an outside portion for cocktail. Or, yeah, it was a whole shebang.
Yeah, they had like a pond that you can go and
Oh wow!
do a little water boat thingy on. Like it was very like
That's
American.
cute.
Yeah, especially like in the middle of COVID where everyone's a little afraid of being inside.
Right? Yeah.
It was a pretty good substitute.
Okay.
Talking about food, yeah, American food is usually, from one of my experience, is usually just barbecue. They might have like a salmon, a baked salmon or grilled salmon, but
Healthy.
it's usually pretty good. I mean, barbecue
Yeah.
can't really go wrong. Hard
We
to go
have
wrong.
curry and
Yeah.
all the fried.
Sometimes I miss
stuff.
it. You know, I need a good butter chicken or curried meal.
Yeah.
Butter chicken is the general sub of Indian food. I
It
don't know if I've ever
is.
said that, but I'm gonna say it
It's
right
true.
now.
Well, I thought butter
It
chicken
is.
was the orange chicken of Chinese, like
It's-
Chinese food, orange chicken. Not because it's orange color, but because everyone just
General
eats
Tso's
it.
is made in the West, right?
Yeah. So
I
is
think so.
Telling me he's not.
wait. So is orange
By
chicken.
So the general, the Chinese
Tso.
army.
The general.
So
The
is orange
general.
chicken. In China, they don't eat orange chicken. I've like learned this through TikTok from
Oh,
Chinese TikTokers.
Yeah.
Orange chicken is an American-made concept.
I think
Which is-
all of those.
Yeah.
Orange.
So
Yeah,
is
so
California
Sesame.
roll.
Yeah.
Butter chicken is not like that, right? That butter chicken is
Which
I think
you
is
know,
it
aren't
a
you
British-
Indian?
Is
butter
it a British
chicken or
thing?
chicken tikka was the
one of them
British
was a British.
recipe.
You should know, right?
Yeah.
It's people.
Yeah.
Indians made
I'm
butter.
South Indian, first of all. That's
It's India. It's India. No. Like I heard the British came in and created something of butter chicken in India.
yeah. I think
so. It's from
chicken
India,
tikka.
but
I want to say that, yeah.
That sounds.
But that could have been translated to butter chicken after the years.
butter chicken
Maybe.
and chicken tikka
'Cause
are made
it's-
with different.
They're different.
Because
spices.
the reason why the British, they came over and they realized that they, I said came over, that's a very lightly used term. I don't know
That's
exactly
not
what
what they
happened.
did.
They're
It
visiting.
wasn't a trip. It wasn't a vacation. But
came
they
to
like Indian
conquer.
food was too spicy for them, so they made a dish that was a lot sweeter.
Yeah.
And butter chicken is usually a bit sweeter because it's yogurt based. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's butter chicken. But
that makes sense.
that's my.
It makes sense.
Oh,
Because butter chicken of all of the Indian
your
or South
engineering
Asian
brain
food,
just like
yeah, butter chicken from all the South Asian food is the least heat. Like, it has the smallest amount of heat. Everything else has a lot of heat. Because you don't put, like, chili peppers in butter chicken when you make it.
No, it's like tomato paste.
Yeah, it's tomato. It's heavy cream.
Some
it's
ghee.
under your leg, babe.
It's a lot of ghee.
Ghee. Gotta get that ghee.
It's just like,
ghee.
hopefully
Grew
that's
up on
not
it.
like the main dish of the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Because like butter chicken's like, hey, for the guests who can't handle the spice level.
Oh, yes.
You know,
In Bangladesh, you know what the main dish is? It's this giant-ass fish or a giant-ass lamb. Like, every time I go to Bangladesh, every time I go to Bangladesh, like, it's very different than how they do weddings here. In Bangladesh weddings, it's like their wedding is the giant reception. There's no dancing, no speeches. The bride and groom stand or sit in this giant stage where people can come in and out to take pictures. And everyone, there's just tables of, like, people eating. And on each table, especially the main table, there's this giant, full-bodied, like, lamb or goat. And then they cut it up and give it to people.
Oh, that's why those old Bengali wedding videos are just people eating.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing.
It's,
That's all
no,
they're
it's
doing.
literally,
like
there's nothing going
stuff
on.
in their face with all that food.
Like, it's not like, because I'm sure in India, weddings are, it's a party, it's a hoot. But in Bangladesh, because we're majority Muslims, we don't, not most, at least all the weddings I've been to, and I've been to like 3 weddings in Bangladesh, so it's not a lot, but all of them, none of them had dancing. Only like the huluds, which is like another wedding event, it's like the pre-wedding events, had some dancing. But like the weddings itself, it's just reception. It's very boring. Just sit there and eat, say hi to the bride and groom, take pictures of them, take pictures of yourself.
That's crazy.
this was in Dhaka.
Yeah, this was in Dhaka.
The capital?
And I've been to 3. 2 of them were my cousins. Another one was some stranger. And
You hear that,
yeah.
Reba's cousins? Your wedding was
No,
boring.
it was.
Nicolas Cage was not amused.
Yeah, no, legit. Like, Shafinapu's wedding, so fucking boring. But, like, I loved how she looked. It was so... Like,
Sorry,
I loved,
Apu.
No, yeah.
Just because they couldn't live with
Bleep
us
their
to
name
have
out
their
in
baby.
those.
Wait, listen. I told her straight up.
was so fucking
I
boring.
told her that your wedding was boring, but that's also because her mom is kind of crazy and told her, like, oh, you can't have dancing at your Hulu. So, like, we
Sorry,
stood
auntie.
there and stared at her while listening to music.
Wait, what?
Yes, at her Hulu. Her mom was like, no, I have, like, guests coming, so we can't listen to Bollywood music. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy. This is your daughter's wedding, but whatever. But yeah, no, at the actual wedding reception, we just sat there and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, it's boring. I'm like, it's okay, we're all cute. We can take pictures of ourselves. Like, that's literally what we did. Those pictures of me from 20 whatever, gorgeous pictures. I had so much time on my hand.
That's interesting because like from what I hear now, Dhaka weddings are like crazy.
I think it just depends on the family.
I mean, there's that too.
Yeah.
yeah. But like,
Because my family, they were like,
Less conservative people, I
no.
guess.
And they're
Like-
not like my family that got married, they're not like extremely conservative. Like, they don't, none of them wear hijabs or anything like that. But like, none of them wanted to do like dancing and stuff. Well, my cousin did, but her mom wouldn't let her. Yeah, it is what it is. But
yeah, no, like my friends when they go back, they're like, these weddings are intense marathons.
oh, see, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm like, I don't see that part of Bangladesh.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I
don't
only
either.
went this year, so
Yeah.
I don't have the time, but apparently it's crazy now.
I think also, like, correct me if I'm wrong, in Bangladesh, weddings are also not as expensive.
Yes.
So you
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
a lot more, right?
Yeah.
More food, more.
Yeah.
Their halls are made
Spending on-
for giant weddings and decorating and all this stuff, and so everything's cheaper. But that's also because they're using like the lowest class of people who, unfortunately they need whatever job can be handed to them. So they purposely don't pay them a lot of money. Which in a sense, it's not good that it costs so little, because the people who need the money are not getting the money. But the people who are getting married, yeah, they save a boatload of money. Like, my mom wanted us to go to Bangladesh and have a reception there just for, like, our family that lives in Bangladesh. One, I didn't want to go because it's just going to be sitting there and boring.
Yeah, fuck Bangladesh.
No,
What?
like legit, like, it would just be so boring. We wouldn't be able to do anything because his family's conservative, my family's conservative. We're not going to be able to do our dance, you know? And on top of that, but like at the same time, I was like, oh my God, it would cost absolutely nothing to go and do a wedding there.
I don't know if you remember our wedding where at some point we asked everyone if they want to take pictures, come take a picture.
That was a mistake.
Huge mistake because there was a huge line out there.
Yeah, you guys didn't eat.
Yeah, we just sat there for like an hour of the.
We had checkers afterwards.
Yeah, and so if we did a wedding in Bangladesh, it would just be that.
It would just be
yeah.
that.
However many hours.
Fun story from Rahib and Ariba's wedding. They took so much time taking pictures that they didn't eat afterwards. They were in their full outfits. We were all sitting at a Checkers in Manassas, Virginia.
Insert picture here.
Outdoors.
I have a picture.
but nasty.
I'll send it to you. You can insert it right here.
Honestly, it was
that
a
was
nice
pretty.
memory. That's like
We're all dressed up at checkers.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
good.
and the colors were perfect. Like my red and gold with the checkers sign, and it was perfect. I was holding
Those
a burger.
employees like, what the hell? is
Taco
going on?"
Bell graduation son or Checkers wedding daughter.
It was amazing. It was ideal.
True.
Yeah. No, I
That
liked
really
that.
hit
It did
afterwards,
hit.
didn't
Yeah.
it?
It's good.
All right, let's talk about some funny wedding stories I have. So for the last 2 years, I've been filming and photographing weddings of all sorts, both like South Asian and American Western. I work for like 3 different companies as a contractor, subcontractor, doing either mostly video work, but sometimes I get my own clients and do stuff for that, for engagements and stuff for some friends.
Humble.
But there were a lot of funny ones, a lot of interesting ones. You know, it's weddings, it's feelings are high tension. You know, I haven't had a runaway bride yet, but I say yet because I'm sure it's bound to happen.
We got to
One
record
day.
that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should have waited until you had a runaway bride.
No. We have another interesting story that's up there. It's up there. Yeah, no.
A runaway groom.
Someone was running. Someone was running.
Does anyone run?
I had one wedding. It was actually, some friends of ours, Aditya and Pratija. But like this one friend, he hit me up. He hit me up to do his engagement, right? And he gave me this date. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I'll be there, over. And then he hits me up the day before. He's like, hey man, excited to see you. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm ready for tomorrow. See you at 7:00. Blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah.
And then all I see is the 3 text bubbles, right, forming for like 30 minutes. I was like, what is he trying to say? I got other stuff to do, blah, blah, blah. It's like a Friday night. I already have plans and stuff. And then he texts me back finally. He's like, oh, I made a mistake. It's today. It's in 1 hour. I gave you the wrong date. I'm like, shit. What should I do? Cancel this? He's already paid the deposit. I mean, I guess I could. He's like, yeah, let me know if I need to pay more. I'm so sorry. Please come. If you can, come right now. I'm like, so I just dropped everything, packed all my stuff, and went there.
Did you
Somehow
charge
made
more?
it work. She didn't charge more. I was
Hey,
being
Oh,
nice.
what a nice
Babe.
guy.
Dude,
What
that's how
you-
you. That's customer
Fool.
loyalty. That's how
That
you.
is-
His next wedding,
Yeah.
he'll pay you even.
He did hire me for his next
Yeah.
one, which was his siblings one, which was Takavia's brother.
Yeah, it's
so
Sakavia's brother. Isn't that crazy?
That's that was such a small world.
So the wedding he was talking about, her
Oh,
that
shit.
groom's sister is Aish.
Who
Who's
married
marrying
that's
our
Keshav.
other friend's
Yeah.
older brother. So yeah,
Shout out
worlds
to all
collide.
parties
And the
involved.
girl,
That's awesome.
the bride of this groom he's talking about is friends with Munisha.
Oh, nice.
Small world.
Small
Small
world.
freaking world.
Yeah. So then, that day I went to see, I filmed them at the groom's house, then went over to the bride's house where everything was happening. It was just an engagement, so kind of
Yeah.
low key, thankfully. And then the bride was just like, she was like, I heard my husband told me what happened, and she's like giving him a look, and I was like, oh my god. I don't know how, and she's like so thankful that I was there. Obviously,
This is why the bride does
Um,
everything.
yeah. This is-
I mean,
yeah,
like, I'm
this is-
sorry.
Whoa.
In that situation, that proves why brides do everything.
yeah.
I don't think Rahib would make that
Also,
mistake, but
like, get yourself a coordinator, maybe.
Yeah,
yeah.
they didn't have one of
Yeah.
those.
I mean, it was a
We
small
didn't.
engagement, so I don't think they would normally not. Used to probably for their big wedding, they would have
Yeah.
done that. But that's another thing. Coordinators, I didn't know the use of a coordinator until I started filming weddings
Yeah.
and working them.
Seems very useful.
Yeah, I don't know if they're common in like South Asian style weddings, but
I
they're
think
very
they are
common
now.
in American
They
weddings.
should be.
I think
It seems like they are now.
There's
Good.
too many moving pieces in a wedding.
Like, I
You-
wish I
need
had
a-
thought of it, but it would have cost us a fortune.
Yeah, and with like South Asian weddings being so many moving, like what you said, moving pieces,
Yeah.
multi-day
And then
events.
the family
I feel like
likes
that's
to
where
get
you
really
need,
involved, so it's like
yeah.
really hard.
You need someone though who's like either been or been part of or grew up with South Asian weddings to be a coordinator for a South Asian wedding. You can't be like
Yeah.
someone straight out like
Yeah.
from only American weddings to go to
Very
South
different.
Asian.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might help because like sometimes you need someone to talk
Outside
to the
perspective.
aunties who are
Yeah.
getting out of line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you might not be able to do that if you're one of us.
You just
know?
need a front man to take all the fire
Yeah.
from like
Pretty much. Yeah.
questions and logistics and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I even heard this new thing where vendors, whoever they are, photographers, videographers, caterers, they charge a non coordinator fee. So if you don't have a coordinator, they charge more Because then at some point they have to be a
That's
coordinator
insane.
themselves and figure out the schedule
Yeah.
themselves, make
That's
sure they're
smart.
getting fed, make sure they're there at certain times, whatever.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, so it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, I've been to a few weddings where there was no coordinator. It was a shit show, and like at some point, sometimes we didn't get fed because like everything was taking so long that our time to eat was delayed, and eventually didn't happen because they had to go on with the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I
Feed
will
your
say
vendors.
We didn't have coordinators, but I think our wedding went pretty smoothly though.
Anyway, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it definitely would have helped to have one.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
It would have
some
aided with at
logistics.
least telling like the cameraman where to stand and like things like that. It would have been nice. Like I remember right like around cocktail hour during our wedding, I was like telling all the bridesmaids, go do this, go do that, go do this, while I was like rewriting my vows onto a piece of paper instead of on my phone. So I was like kind of coordinator, but like it would have been nice to have a coordinator. But again,
yeah. The point of the wedding is the bride and groom shouldn't be doing anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just their day. They should be enjoying it. So that's when you know it's a good wedding.
You didn't do videography for your own wedding?
He wasn't into it like that yet. I mean, he was.
Yeah,
into
everything
it,
I
but not
gained was after the wedding.
Yes.
About all my wedding knowledge.
Go set up
Definitely
the
could have applied
tripod,
there.
then run back to the.
It's okay. Our
Then
5
give
years
your
coming
vows.
up, and we're gonna have a re-wedding, right?
What?
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 No, you got
our
re-wedding
10-year
money?
In Bangladesh?
No,
I've never been.
Oh,
Our,
you should do a Bangladesh wedding.
Absolutely
I'll
not.
come.
Okay,
Do a DACA re-wedding.
Yeah.
we are not doing
We'll do it
anything
in
for
Goa.
5 years.
That's the closest we'll get.
But our next
Goa.
our 10-year
Hell yeah.
anniversary
Fucking
might be
hour
a
away.
destination thing. So 5 years from now, save money. We're gonna go somewhere. We can go to Goa if you want to go to Goa.
I've also never been to Goa.
Yeah, I've never been either.
Let's go.
And
That one movie made it look so good.
And then from there, we can all go to South Korea.
We'll go to Japan.
We've already been to Japan. Get
And it
over
was great.
yourself. Get
And it
over
was great.
Get over it.
Like-
Raheem's like, I've already been here once. I want to go there. You're just like your father. Oh, like let's go to Little
For
Italy
like
because I can
going
only
to
go to
new
Little Italy.
places?
Yeah, bro.
No, that makes sense. I've been to places that I'm like, I definitely want to come back here.
Yeah.
Bar Harbor, Maine.
But like Japan
Amazing.
is like a whole ass country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more
So
to
is
see.
South
Right.
like-
But what about other countries?
Yeah. You want to go because you're supposed to K-pop and Korean beauty.
Well,
Oh, wait,
time
I think
out.
I misunderstood. You're saying you want to go back to the same place.
Yes.
wanna go back to
and
the same
I want to go
Oh.
to different places and then go back to the same place.
That's what, yeah. See, I'm more of like a,
You wanna
I've been
experience
to Bar
everything.
Harbor. Take me to Jamaica. Let me eat some papayas
That's what
on
I'm
the beach.
saying.
Maybe it was okay. I just don't want to go
And
to
then-
Korea. That's it.
What?
I don't see anything good to Korea. They're just gonna fat shame all
Nothing
of
Wait,
us.
can I
against
just
Koreans.
say? Can I just say? First of all,
K-pop
you say
has
that about everything.
idolized
He doesn't-
Korea. It is
No,
not
no, no.
as good as
you don't
think
want to
it
go
is.
to Maine because there's nothing there, but there is.
There-
You don't want to go to Washington because there's nothing there, but there is. Like,
What
you
is it in
haven't been.
Washington? Tell
You
me.
think there's nothing
I don't
in
know.
Maine? I just registered.
That's what I've been trying to tell him. Let's go to Maine, and he's like, "There's nothing there."
What are you
I'm
gonna do?
You
"What?"
like clam chowder?
Babe, I've never been to Maine. I can't tell you what's in Maine
You like
until I go
whales?
there. You
They
can't say
got
there's
them.
nothing there.
I didn't see them, but they got them. They got 'em.
All I'm saying, you can't say I can't go
There
somewhere
was a
until
storm.
you've been
They canceled
there.
all the tours.
We're
I'll
gonna
be
go
back.
to
That's
Korea.
exactly like Maine.
We're
To be
gonna go
fair,
Korea.
for that reason, I said I would be back in Maine. So I will be.
There we go. What's in Washington? I don't know. Why
I
you say
don't know. I've
Washington.
never
Seattle, right?
been.
Coffee.
Let's
Actually, I want
go.
to go to Seattle. Seattle sounds like a.
Seattle.
I want to see in other cities. You see one
the
urban
worst.
landscape, you see in them all.
Absolutely the worst.
I do
Especially
wanna
if you've
see-
gone to the motherland or anywhere in South
But
Asia.
we're not
that's
just going
different.
for the land. There's
Pacific
different foods,
Northwest.
different cultures, different things there that we've never seen and done before.
In
You
America?
can't.
Yeah, they eat
In
lobster and they
America
talk
and
with
other
the.
places. Well, in other
Yeah, an
countries too.
accent.
Yeah.
Like I want to experience South Korea. I want to experience various places. Like if I fucking go to Mexico for the 16th time again, I'm going to lose my
Yeah,
mind.
because it's 16 times. Oh, well, Japan once. So twice.
go
And then
again.
you
To
can
be
say.
fair,
I
all the
haven't been
times I've
16
gone to
times.
Mexico, though, I haven't really like gotten to do full immersion. Right, we're going there to celebrate bachelor party,
Yeah.
something,
we went to
wedding.
the vacation spots, so they're
Yeah.
very
Right.
tourist heavy.
Like I've never been to Mexico
friendly.
City. I've never been to
Yeah. Which is probably good.
like inland central Mexico.
yeah, like we've never actually traveled and looked
Yeah.
at. Yeah, like the way that you would do.
No, Mexican
in
gives me
Europe and
Bangladesh
stuff.
vibe, so I feel like I'm kind of
Yeah,
home.
no,
Yeah.
I'm good with Mexico. Let's go to European and Asian countries, or even African countries. I've never been to any country in Africa.
Yeah.
Any.
We need Morocco.
No, we should go to South Africa. When
Always
she
wanna
has
see the
family
pyramids.
there, and she says South Africa is
It's a
beautiful.
big world.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
Cape Town and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a coworker from there. Good stuff. I'm doing Maine next weekend actually.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
There you go. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Where in Maine?
I'm not sure. My friends are kind of planning this trip out, but we're gonna
Nice.
drive up Friday, drive up, stay for like the weekend, and then come back So driving from Boston. So
Oh, I was gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah.
not from here.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. No,
Are you flying to Boston then?
Yeah, I'm flying to Boston on Wednesday. Gonna hang out. Then Friday go
That
up to
sounds
Maine.
like
That's
fun.
the
Yeah.
same itinerary we did. We flew to Boston
Yeah,
and then drove to Maine.
it's like an hour or so, right? Hour, 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Stopped
Oh,
in.
now we know what to do, babe.
We stopped in Portland, Maine.
I think we're going to Portland. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
They got good seafood.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so jealous.
And then on the way back, we're gonna stop at like Salem or like some other spot.
Oh,
So-
careful.
Nice.
About witches.
Yeah, it's Salem.
I don't think he has to worry about that as a man.
The witches can curse him
And not
as a man.
being.
Oh.
I think he was
Yeah.
talking about getting
I
hung.
thought being burned at the stake.
They don't burn.
To the witches.
The witches are
Not
good at
being
hiding
cursed.
now. No, the
What's
witches
more
are
likely?
the
What
witches are
actually
better at
happened?
hiding. The witches are better at hiding now.
Oh, right,
Dude,
right.
witches now make TikToks like, I'm going to place a curse on
Yes.
Joe Biden. I'm just kidding. Which community don't curse me?
You see how
I'm
that
a big
bullet
fan
missed?
of your
I was an opposing a Republican witch that protected Trump.
Oh my God, a Republican Trump witch. That's crazy.
Probably
That's
out there.
crazy.
A Trump witch sounds like a sandwich.
Yeah, Trump witch. Sounds like a sandwich specifically made to advertise the election for like a MAGA.
It's red, white, and blue.
Product for a limited time at Burger King.
Yeah.
Get your Trump witch.
Tomato, blue cheese, and white meat.
That doesn't
Red, white,
sound
and blue.
horrible.
I'm
No.
starving.
I don't know about
You're
that.
starving. You had breakfast.
All right, back to some more wedding shenanigans. Let's see. I went to this one wedding. It was a very young couple. They were like, when I say young, they're younger than me, and I was like 28 at the time. So they're like fresh out of college. They're like, I think, young Christian couple. Like they went to Christian camp and met up, and
They
for
went
religious reasons, they probably got married early, right? Whatever.
Mm.
do it.
But then at some point, at the end of the, like,
Is that why?
this is like 2 hours before the wedding's supposed to end. I hear rumors of, oh, the wedding is ending early. I'm like, hey, sure.
Awesome.
I still get paid.
When
for
has
that
a wedding
amount.
ever gone ahead
Yeah.
of schedule?
Exactly. So I'm like, that's strange, but I'm not gonna say no.
Right.
But they had me for like, all 6 hours or whatever.
I'm
right?
imagining you like, I object.
I want to be here longer.
Show must go on.
So I heard the wedding, it's ending early. And at that point, we had done everything. The reception was pretty much over. We're on the dance floor part. I'm like, all right, good. I don't want to film 2 hours of just dancing, which is just me just sitting there after a while. Let's go home. And then 30 minutes pass. It hasn't ended yet. We're still dancing on the dance floor. An hour passes, and then people, like all the old people, obviously at that point, start leaving. All the young people are still on the dance floor. I'm like,
So you
okay,
left?
I guess we're not ending early. And then the bride disappears for a while. I'm like, oh. Is it ending early? Is she going to change and stuff? And then a bunch of people go are crowding on the bathroom, the girls' bathroom where the bride is. I'm like, oh shit, something's happening. And apparently, the bride comes out, or like the bridesmaids, the maid of honor comes out. I was like, oh, the bride's crying. She thinks that the wedding is ending early apparently, so everyone's leaving. And she's like, why is everyone leaving my wedding? Blah blah blah. I'm like, didn't you say that you wanted the wedding to end early? And like the groom disappeared. He's
Was
like
she
smoking up with his friends and somewhere.
Oh, what?
I mean, yeah, obviously everyone was drunk because they're partying and stuff.
Very Christian.
Yeah, so it was very strange. It's like, bride thought the wedding was ending early, even though she may have started the rumor, but she ended up crying over that, and then the
She was
groom
real
disappeared. But then they kept going for no reason. This dance floor just kept going for like 3 more hours, and we're just like sitting there. Me and the photographer's like, yeah. What you doing tomorrow? And then at the end, they had an exit, a send off, right? Usually sparkler or bubbles or whatever. But the groom smoked cigars too much that he got like a contact high or whatever, that he got sick, and he was just like throwing up in the corner.
Oh,
And
my
then
God.
everyone was just waiting for him to like recover, and the bride was just furious. Like, this is not a good start to their marriage. She was like,
Damn.
you better get your ass over here to
Yeah.
do this send off. It's literally the last thing. And he wobbled over there. He's like, his jacket's off, his tie's loose. And he's like, yeah, let's do this. I'm like, wow, this is
Man,
22
record
and
that?
married.
I
Yeah,
love this
record
country.
that. God bless America.
I love it.
So that was one of my first weddings that I filmed.
That sounds like the story of a couple that's been married for like 70 years.
Yeah.
And the husband is just like, back in the wedding. I don't know. That was a bad impression. I don't know what,
Back in the old days.
what it
Back in the
sounds like,
days when
but
I
I'm
was
picturing like
married.
an old couple that, you know, they had a terrible wedding, but they've been together for a long time kind of thing.
Hopefully they're still together.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it's a young couple, so you never know.
We were a young couple.
You never know.
Hey, knock on wood.
I'll kill you.
Hopefully no couples that you've recorded have split already. That would be
I hope not.
That's
I
bad
do
juju.
wish they all stay together. I don't think I've
I'm saying we need more love.
exactly.
I'm just
Have you
kidding.
been to a wedding where you're like, what the fuck? Why are these two people getting together? Just by like their
I was
interaction?
about to mention that. Yeah, there's another wedding I did a few weeks later after that one, where it was up in bumfuck nowhere, Maryland. Right, it was in an old colonial house. Like this was like a founding father's house. Right, it was on the lake, beautiful place, giant acres. You know, we got some nice drone shots. But I went in. It was a white couple, and they both had like past marriages. It was like there's a second marriage, or they had kids from another marriage, so they're all there. A lot of step situations, blah blah blah, and both their parents were divorced. So it's very interesting, a big family essentially. And they had like some drama, like the father can't be with his can't be photographed with his ex-wife and things like that. So he had to do separate photos for all the family stuff. Like, okay, yeah, now my other mom come in, now my stepmom come in, blah blah blah. That happens a lot, kind of actually, when you do American weddings. But the funniest thing
'Cause
was
they marry
that
young.
I walked in,
Wow.
introduced myself to the groom, and he's like, yeah. I was like, so I said, I try to be as accommodating as possible. Yeah. So whatever you need, let me know. I'm in charge of all the videos. I'm just going to get some shots of you guys, and then I'll go up to the bride. But yeah, let me know whatever. If you have any other ideas for anything you want captured, just let me know. He's like, yeah. I'm the easy one. The crazy one's upstairs. I was like, this is within 5 seconds of meeting, you're already calling your would-be wife crazy. I'm like, okay.
And if
It's
it's not
like-
for a
That's a good-
bit in front of her, it's not okay. That's not cool.
Yeah, it is different if she's not
Like,
there.
No, it was just him. It was him and me talking. The bride was upstairs getting ready.
So he was just
Right.
being an asshole.
So that was just him talking to me.
It was like, so now we know why you're
Say it.
divorced.
He was an asshole.
Not now, Nicolas Cage.
Say it. He was an asshole.
And then later on, I mic up the bride and groom for
Uh-oh.
their vows and stuff, right? Well, so sometimes I can hear them if I plug it in and listen.
Oh,
Which I
Wait,
try not to do because then they just get loud and I'm not trying to hear them the whole time. But I put in my earphones right before they're about to come out.
this is so
But-
messy.
and then I can just hear them like yelling at each other, like, "Oh, this is not how it's supposed to go." This blah blah blah. This is like talking about the actual process of things. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this couple should be going out. The DJ should be playing this song. Blah blah blah. And there's like, "Don't talk to me like this. I need this to happen like that way." And it was kind of bridezilla moment. And the guy's just like, I'm like, "Oh damn, this looks like it's gonna be a good couple." Yeah. And at some
Yikes.
point, like, the wedding went on. This is like the last dance, like 3 hours later, and you can just hear. This happens kind of a lot where like the groom is very obviously done with everything, and the bride's like, just one more. We can just do one more, whatever this is, picture, dance, whatever.
Yeah.
And the groom's like, oh, fine. And, like, has to muster up a smile or something.
Oh, damn. I feel like you have to force yourself to smile and be
Grumpy,
happy at your own
grouchy
wedding.
men.
Yeah.
Why do all that?
Get yourself a coordinator.
Or like if I
This
feel
is all
like
just
there's,
a PSA for
Yeah.
coordinator guild.
Get yourself a coordinator, ladies and gentlemen.
I also just feel like that guy
episode is
sounds
sponsored by
like he didn't want to get
the-
married.
I mean, it was round 2
Coordinator
for
guild.
him, right? So
It was round 2 for him, you said?
Yeah, I think round 2 for both of them. Or
Oh.
because they both had kids from different marriages, so it could have been.
Oh shit.
I don't know if they were
okay.
married, but they had other relations
They've
that
had-
were significant enough.
I will
that.
say I don't know if I were to ever get married twice or like the second time, I would never want to go through that again. Like that whole process
just
of
Tired of the
wedding
process.
planning and having a wedding and all that stuff. That was exhausting the first time.
Mhm.
That's why I don't understand how people go through all of that just to like
Get divorced.
get divorced. And it's different if like something actually happens, like, you
Right.
know, cheating or whatever, like that kind of stuff. But I'm saying like petty fights that you should be able to talk about and, you know, resolve together because you're
Yeah.
fucking married. Like that boggles my mind because like, why would you want to do that all over again? Building that trust again and having that wedding and planning it and the anxiety of like, oh, will he or will he not? Or, you know, like it's just too much.
They don't make them like they used to.
Back in my day.
Back in
But
my
I
day.
feel like back in the day,
That's the
people,
proper old man.
Your old man was good.
I was gonna say, I feel like back in the day, people would get married left and right because, for whatever reasons, like
That's because they were at
it's
war.
well, no, I'm not talking about back then. I'm
need
talking
to
about like
populate-
even
we
like
needed
early 2000s.
infantry.
We need some army.
Baby boomers, literally.
Even in early 2000s. Wow, you know what? The comments are right. Y'all never shut up to let me finish.
You say the funniest things. We got a comment.
No, even early 2000s, people would just get married left. Even celebrities, they would get married left and right without thinking of like, oh, do I actually want to spend like the rest of my life? Because like people take marriage as something else, like, oh, let's just be together and then let's end it because we can. Like that's not the whole point of marriage. It's not to get divorced. It's to stay together. And if you're not ready for all that,
We have ruined the sanctity of marriage.
That's what this is, though.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I do agree.
this
And
is
then
different from the wedding thing now. Now this is like
This is
the
love.
sanctity of marriage.
This is marriage.
This is
Well,
about. It's always been
yes.
about love, baby.
Love.
It is about. I also just feel like the people who get married for not love reasons and for
Financial.
Status.
religious, like it's not love. Like that's just you're just getting married for the sake of
Well,
the title
yeah.
of marriage.
This,
But like,
now it's like there's all the history of like marriage used to be a property thing,
Yeah.
like
Yes,
transfer
yes,
of
yes.
wealth,
Status or
Well, that was
status
a
or
long time ago.
solidifying.
but like nowadays,
fiefdoms.
like if you're gonna get married, it should be because you want to be with that person forever and love and marriage and like a family and a future. It shouldn't be like, oh, I like you today, let's get married. Oh, don't like you anymore, let's get divorced.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
how it is with so many people, and it's terrifying because who knows, like if you get married to someone, if they're gonna have that mindset of, oh yeah, I'm over it, let's get divorced.
Yeah,
like, that's
I think
terrifying.
There are also examples of successful marriages that come
Yes.
from religious unions, that come from
I have not seen one,
love
but
unions,
yes,
that come from
I've yet to see
different
one.
kinds
No.
of.
It depends on the people. Some people,
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe it is that they get used to the person. If it's like an arranged marriage, right? People,
then
two
isn't that
strangers coming in,
contempt?
Yeah.
they just get used to each other and they learn to love each other.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Learn to love each other.
So
okay.
they become a successful couple.
Yeah.
Versus
Like arranged marriages and our
which
parents
is
back
kinda,
in the day. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind
But
of the same
that's
as
not
dating
religious
or something.
marriage.
You learn to love someone after you meet with them.
Yeah, and I think
It's just
even-
more of a forced, quote unquote. Forced
Yeah, that's the
situation.
thing. Dating versus already married and having to love that person versus dating and realizing that's not for me. That's very different. You can end a
Yeah, of
relationship
course it's different.
when it's
but
dating, but
that's that. I mean, if
but
you have no
jumping to
choice in that.
marriage-
That was the cultural way of doing things in our parents'
but
time.
that's back in
then
the day.
that's-
I'm talking about now. People are still doing that to the point where it's like, but then what if you don't mesh well with this person in the future?
Well, that's the
Are
point
you
of
gonna
being in today's time. You have the power of divorce. Women can do that, and
I mean, it's
not
different
as frowned
mindsets too,
upon.
right?
And if you're
Like-
not being like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying like there's different mindsets to like the relationship, right? Like two people who believe in the idea of arranged marriage will make things work because they both have the idea of how
That's true, yeah.
arranged marriages work.
And some people don't want to get married for love, and they just want that comfort.
Some people
of-
think it as just transactional.
Yeah.
Is a thing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
to
That's
each
what
their
he
own,
got
right?
married.
So-
He wanted the tax
I wanted
benefits.
tax benefits.
He wanted
Your
tax
land.
benefits.
Oh,
One
He,
of your land.
every
Yeah.
single.
I'm
the-
also in Ariba's mom.
the
It's
day
like,
that
I
we
got the
got
house. I got the
the house, like, I got land. There we go. We got
Okay,
the land.
okay, whoa. The land is still under my name. You get nothing.
For now.
No, but like I will say, like
Once I
as a
change my last
joke,
name to Cage.
he always he used to make a joke when we first got engaged, like, oh, I'm marrying her for the tax benefits. Never bothered me, but people would come up to him and be like, don't say that. That's so fucked up. Like, you can't be getting married for that reason.
Did my dad teach you that? Like, what's going on?
I wouldn't be.
Bro,
Who
I
thought he
said
was
that.
being serious?
What? No, well, there was a few girls who
I
thought
didn't
there was.
notice until they had noticed.
Yes,
I didn't know
yeah,
there
yeah.
were tax benefits of getting married. I was like, yeah, all right.
Oh, nice.
Because then I had
yeah.
to do my taxes. Like, fuck, I'll do anything to reduce these.
Also, I will say, like, I never thought he was legit, but because so many people came up to him saying, like, you can't be saying that, he came up to me and was like, I'm just joking. And I'm like, yeah? Like, what? This is the one
you
time
sent your
I'm not
goons
being
after
upset.
me.
My goons actually said it on their
talking
own.
to
'cause
me.
They were not true goons,
See?
okay? They were fake goons that were on
They
their
were
own.
Everybody
real
just
accord.
wants your money.
They wanted to end the relationship before it started, okay?
We've changed the meaning of goon in recent times, so now I can't hear it or use it the same way.
It's like a sexual thing now, right?
It's now-
What?
Yeah, if you're a gooner, you're someone who's addicted to porn and just like masturbates all day.
Oh my
I
God.
did not know that.
Yeah. So it's no longer like a villain lackey or whatever. It's now
That's
a
stupid.
porn addict.
could
Wait,
be.
it could be both. It could be both.
I saw a meme where like it's like, oh, the crime lord's like, I put an ad out for goons. Who are you guys? And they're like, where's the porn?
Maybe it's both. Maybe goons are addicted to porn and helping their evil.
How they're gonna help them if they're addicted to their
They're
porn?
masturbating on the enemies.
I thought you were gonna say on the
Hey, yo,
job.
that's-
We should have interrupted Ariba that time.
We made a huge mistake.
I can start
We
singing.
became too feminist. All right, back to crazy wedding stories. You and your gooning nonsense. My God.
Can I just say I never understand wedding receptions at hotels when there are amazing venues everywhere in this area, in the DMV area.
What kind of wedding?
Like we went to a Bengali wedding reception that was at the Crown Hilton near his house.
Oh, look.
And it was this tiny little
We're
room that
doxing
looks like
Raheem
it
right
was.
now.
It just looked like a room that was meant for a conference or like a graduation party or something,
I
not
think
a
it's
wedding
that's more of a
reception.
money issue than anything. And the industry is inflated as hell because everyone knows everyone's going
Yeah.
to, most people are going to get married, and they know that's a big affair,
Yeah.
and a lot of people will throw out the dough for it.
Yeah.
So
DMV
everything's conflated.
DC weddings are crazy.
Yeah.
Say that again?
And depending on the
DMV
culture.
DC weddings?
Yes.
Crazy.
But like the DMV DC weddings that are in hotel, like tiny hotels. I'm not talking about like the big giant high ceiling hotels, because those don't feel like hotels when I walk into the venue. But like just the one that we went to, it just didn't feel like a wedding anymore. Do you remember like Anisha and her sister's graduation party? It was like a room like that, but like that's a graduation party. It makes sense for it to be low ceilings, smaller, things like that. But it just felt like a graduation party.
yeah.
I
or
know
a
you're
bride
so
and groom.
bougie. You need the high ceiling,
I need
giant
that.
chandelier.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Princess
Staircase.
you are
staircase,
kidding me.
Cinderella
Yeah.
style.
I never
If the
thought- I
plan
think,
is to get
yeah.
married once, go all out or go very, very simple, like a barn wedding. But like a hotel room that looks
Oh.
like it's for a conference doesn't. I mean, that's just my personal preference. It
I think,
doesn't feel
like,
like a wedding.
Super
Financials.
simple and all out. There's definitely like you can make concessions.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
make
yes.
meet in the middle on a lot of things.
But that
right?
room itself, I mean, you were in that room. It felt.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a wedding. And even like the way it was set up and everything, it just didn't feel wedding-esque. It almost felt like a fancy quinceañera, like a fancier quinceañera.
I think in the end, that all depends just what your budget is.
Yeah,
So
it
you
could.
Just,
it
maybe
could
you
be.
want more, but you just can't afford it.
Yeah, maybe they spend
But
more
also,
money
like,
on.
That's how decor people make their money because hotel conference rooms are not built for weddings.
Yeah.
And these people come in and then
They have to
lavish it.
decorate
They,
the
they
shit
do
out of
that.
it.
They
Yes,
do
yeah.
improve it a lot.
Yeah.
Decoration does really help.
Yeah, we're all just cogs in the wedding industrial complex.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There was one really big wedding we did. There's an Indian white couple last October-ish,
Yeah.
last winter. It was a really good wedding. It was a really big one. It was my first solo wedding where we had like the whole wedding weekend, Sangeet, Bharat, all that stuff. It was great because the bride side was accommodating to all the Indian culture, which I'm sure it can be a lot overwhelming to
Especially
someone.
as the bride, yeah.
The bride
Yeah.
side was the white side. Just so
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're really nice and they seem to be really accommodating. They all put on traditional South Asian or Indian clothing, saris, and like all the girls had saris on, the guys had the kurtas. It was great. They all look good. It was generally very good. It was just very long as usual. They did the whole they were South Indian too. Yeah. So they had the very big Tamil ceremony in the morning from like 6 a.m. all over the whole time. I'm sure they were exhausted by that. But it was very interesting because we went to the they did an Indian ceremony and an American ceremony. And the American ceremony, exactly what you imagine. And then they had
well, not exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you imagining?
Yeah. So like they had one of the bride side, like brother-in-law or brother, do the officiant stuff, or the MC stuff. And we didn't realize this, but they're like they were the other type of family, white people who really harp on their Native American ancestry.
Oh,
Was it native or was it like Irish? I don't remember.
I think they're Irish or
It's
Scottish, but they
two
also
different
brought in a
things.
lot of their indigenous. Because they mentioned like, I'm 1/16 Cherokee or
so
something.
they came from
And they-
Ireland
They pulled the
and
Elizabeth
took
Warren.
Yeah.
the native.
So
native
they
culture.
did a whole thing about all four elements and
Oh.
winds and the northeast winds and stuff. And then like they kept mentioning their indigenous
How indigenous are they?
heritage.
Like 1/8?
The
or
same thing you would
1/16?
hear from stereotypical
mean,
jokes. It's
Like I said, they're white. So,
So they're actually like they look nothing indigenous, right?
oh no, they're white as hell.
they
but
haven't
had-
seen the sun in a while. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but it was like they just went all. It was like American
offense.
ceremonies are pretty short, like 30 minutes. But this is like an
They're just-
hour long. They were like going on and
They
on.
were just
about-
Caucasian.
They're very spiritual white people. So that usually
Yeah.
means that they're tapping into some other part of their culture.
What do you feel about that? I feel isn't that a little weird?
I
Like,
mean,
they
it
still-
was
they-
funny watching
only
it.
a
It
little
was
chair-
unexpected.
I was interested.
They're only
Yeah.
native a little bit because they're people.
Like it
raped
sounded
them.
almost like we talked about witches before. It almost sounded a bit Wiccan, you know.
It had like Wiccan pagan vibes.
yeah,
But
that's the word. Pagan.
But
They
witches
had
were
some very
always
pagan
white.
vibes.
Witches were always white, whereas native people, like if they're a little native, it's because their people raped them. Like they should. It's not something to be.
So
proud
I don't know.
of.
Like I don't remember the native part. I thought it was like an Irish Scottish thing.
See, that makes
I
more
feel like
sense.
I definitely remember them mentioning some
Oh,
Cherokee
okay.
or some indigenous
Maybe.
tribe.
But
in
like,
their blood.
Whoa.
because like they did that part outside of that hotel, right? And so they, it was like a normal, I guess, traditional Western setup.
Mm-hmm.
And then as people were filling in, and then like the officiant was like her brother or brother-in-law started like talking, then that's when I realized this isn't going to be a Christian thing. This is going to be this pagan type of spiritual thing where they're like each cardinal direction, north, south, east, west, is related to a element like wind, fire, water, something like that. And each of these have representations in marriage. Like one means the passion, the love,
That's
one's
cute.
about something else, and so on and so forth. And then he's going through all these things while they're doing their whole thingy. And then there was also like a candle that
Yeah,
was
they had a
built that was
candle
made of
ceremony.
something that was supposed to represent something.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there was
Human
a rope.
earwax.
Ew, ew.
It was
It's so
something.
you can listen to your partner for life.
It was something about like eternal fire burning, about passion.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was close.
And then there was a rope that they had to tie
Tied
to
a
each
rope
other,
around between the- Yeah.
which I've seen
thought
that
that was-
elsewhere.
I
But
thought that was an Indian thing, tying around the.
Cultures intertwined.
Isn't
Everyone
that-
has their
Yeah.
own
T for tie the knot.
thing.
they definitely did tie
So
the
this
knot.
was like a very traditional indigenous ceremony.
I don't.
I wouldn't
I'm just
say
not sure
Seven.
which
traditional
culture it
indigenous.
came from. It could have been an Irish cultural thing, or maybe it's mixed with
Maybe-
some pagan stuff.
Maybe they brought
Like-
in all that
Stuff.
stuff.
Irish, like European pagan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed to be a lot of stuff. They're definitely
Interesting.
European.
Do you think they did all that stuff because the brown guy had so many other cultural stuff? They were like, oh, we gotta
That
compete.
thought did.
we gotta do
cross
some
my
more
mind.
stuff because
Maybe
we're so
they felt
boring.
more empowered to do so.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah,
if
maybe
she
comfortable.
married a
Maybe
white
they
man.
practice that
Yeah.
in their privacy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So like
that's-
that could have been like,
sounds
oh,
fair.
you guys are happy to do your cultural stuff. Now I feel like I'm free to do my cultural stuff too,
Yeah.
which is great. You can bring out.
Stay
You know,
mindful.
you're not
That's
just
such a positive
white.
way to
You
think
know,
about
you're
it.
just not American. You have no culture. Everyone has something to.
But a
show.
lot of, I will
Yeah.
say, a lot of white people have lost their European cultures that they used
Yeah,
to
that's
have.
exactly the point.
Like I have
yeah,
a bunch
so
of
they think-
coworkers who they don't even say that they're Irish, Scottish, whatever. They're like, I'm from Michigan, like just
Well,
Michigan.
yeah.
Well, they're probably like far removed
No,
from.
yeah, so far removed that
Yeah.
like it's kind of like goes back to like holding on to your language and your culture and your
Yeah.
traditions, like because their forefathers didn't do that, all that stuff, and they were just Americanized.
Right.
They've lost all their culture, but
Yeah.
it's true. Yeah, most Americans do have a culture, but like they don't
Yeah.
do anything with it anymore. The most like Irish people will do is drink on St. Patrick's Day now. Like it's
Most Irish thing to do is drink.
no, I mean like it's like I have coworkers who are Irish, and they'll be like, yeah, we don't really do anything except for St. Patrick's Day when we all get drunk, and I'm like, so what do they do in Ireland? Because I don't think they just celebrate on St.
Right.
Pat. I don't think does Ireland even have St. Patrick's Day? Is that like an American thing?
I want.
I'm
I wouldn't be
sure.
surprised if it's just an American holiday.
I wouldn't.
Probably
Yeah,
is.
Halloween
think
is an
it's-
American thing. They don't do it everywhere else in the world like
I
that.
think St.
Well,
Patrick
It's
was
westernized.
the thing in
There was a
Ireland.
saint named
Well,
Patrick.
no, but like, is the day like celebrated the way
Celebrated.
we in America like we have bar crawls for St. Patrick's Day versus
I mean, like
in
it's like
Ireland?
Cinco
Yeah,
de
I'm
Mayo.
sure.
Yes, like Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
There's stuff, but
Clearly, they do something else over there.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure Ireland has its own set of
Yeah,
holidays and
traditions
traditions.
and
And
all
They
stuff.
pick
We
a
just-
different day to say "fuck the British," so
yeah.
it's understandable. Probably the day the Queen died.
Yeah.
They probably said it multiple times.
BBC News reporting live. I'll never forget that day.
Have you guys ever been to a wedding or like a film for a wedding that was nowhere like there was nothing religious in it at all, or was there always like a hint of some sort of religion?
I think
It's-
religion has to.
It's kind of
sort
it's kind of intertwined. If we're doing because South Asian weddings, there's always some kind of religious aspect.
Our
so
wedding wasn't.
count those out.
Like our hulud there was no religion. Our wedding ceremony was all cultural. All the stuff that we did, none of it was religious. The only religious thing that I didn't care about was the nikah. Like we just went to.
That was
so that was
pop
that
quiz, and you
Well,
failed.
I understood your question because the only wedding that came to my mind was our cousin's wedding, who I will not name, but they got court married and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, every other even
Because
the
of
white ones I
religious
went-
differences.
Yeah.
That's why.
Even the American ones I filmed and been part of, they reference God in some way in the ceremonies. It's usually in the ceremony. That's they mention in the presence of God or something. Very small, very like just minutia. It's just they say it because it seems right thing to say.
Someone's
I
got
don't
to
think they're
bless this.
specifically religious.
So I must ask, what is the worst wedding you've filmed for? Please do tell.
Worst.
Both of you, or if it's separate.
The worst ones will be the ones with like no coordinator, it's very unorganized.
Yours
There's
is
one
actual
wedding where I
story.
didn't get fed because everything was taking so long. Which is funny. That wedding was between a white girl and an Indian guy. And
Not
they're-
this wedding though. I mean,
No.
for the people listening.
yeah,
Different wedding.
not the same wedding that we did.
Another wedding.
ironically,
Another one.
wedding. Yeah. But these guys were very Americanized. They didn't seem to do the whole wedding was a very American style wedding. Just a ceremony, just a reception. They, from what I heard, they did a sangeet or like a mehndi kind of thing beforehand, but they didn't get that filmed with us. But that was funny because they had one of their uncles, one of the Indian uncles, do the emceeing, and he was just really bad at the job. And it wasn't like a thick accent fob uncle. Like they were all in America. They're first generation immigrants. So the groom was a second generation immigrant.
Wow.
So they're all fluent in English stuff, but he was just not a good public speaker. So at some point,
In a cute, endearing way, or
it
like
was kind of cute the
like,
first
hello.
time, but then 30 minutes in, it was like, get on going,
Sure.
uncle. Yeah, keep it going. We got things to do. And like you can see the kind of desperation in the bride is like, this is taking too long. You're putting us all back. Even the groom was like, skip this thing and just go to the next one.
Uncle G.
Yeah, he's like, uncle, please. At
Fast
some point,
forward.
like it was clearly the MC, the officiant was nervous. So like at one point he just stopped talking. He's like, can someone get me some water?
Oh
Please.
man,
So they
Why did
stopped
they
the
give
wedding
him
and
so
they got
much-
him some
Oh my
water.
God.
responsibility.
Because like he tried to bring in some Indian culture too and talk about different stuff. And they did like the walking around the fire stuff. So they combined some elements of the classic Indian weddings.
Oh, you would have to find a venue that allows you to have an indoor fire.
Yeah, so they
That's
they
hard.
did, it was outside, so they could
Oh.
they lit a small fire,
Never mind.
very small thing. But yeah, that because of that ceremony went so long, we didn't get to eat and everything else was pushed back. So kind of annoying at that, but that's why we get a coordinator. That's my biggest thing.
Get a coordinator.
But
Yeah.
then I think recently we had a gig that was, I would say, on my lower list of weddings. It was an Afghan Muslim wedding, and they were just notoriously late. Like I did the nikah and then the engagement, and both of them started like an hour and a half, 2 hours late.
Do you get paid more if you have to stay longer?
Luckily, that time we were paid hourly, so it didn't really matter. So, but in that case, it was the engagement. We were there, both of us were there, and we were there on time. We were sitting there for like an hour. We already set up and everything, and no one was there. No one came.
No one was coming.
No one
Aw.
was there for an hour. Me and the DJ and Dwayne were just like, all right,
Damn.
let's just get some details and stuff.
Yeah.
The bride comes in finally, like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You're here. Let's get some shots with you. And then like, yeah, so everyone was supposed to come at 6. It is now 8:00. No one's here.
No one's there.
So we're just gonna sit down
Oh my
over on the
God.
side to make sure no one sees us. We're like, okay, cool. Finally, people start trickling in. 8:30, 9
Jeez.
o'clock, and things finally start.
But like
I'd
as
be
people are
so
trickling
pissed.
in, me. So it's the DJ, me and him that were just sitting there, and we noticed like, hey, everyone here is a woman, and it's just the 3 of us that are guys. And so I'm like, is this like a cult, like traditionally like how it is, like in their wedding, like engagement parties? Is like a like how dolkis are in like South Asian weddings? It's like an all women's thing. Like, is that what this is? Because I don't know why we got hired for this. if it's an all wedding like women's event.
Yeah,
So
turned out it was. The engagement was all women's thing. There was all the men who were not part of like working there. We're on the other side behind a partition, which is like the little brothers and like the big brother, whatever. And so we had filmed the whole thing. Majority of it was the girls just dancing. So, you know, if you're coming from a conservative angle, you can see why you wouldn't want men in there, whatever. But they were very conservative Muslims and stuff. So it was very interesting. I didn't know why they wanted that filmed per se. But at some point, one of like they didn't have a coordinator, but they had one like
The
close relative, bride's friend or whatever, being pseudo coordinator and trying to tell us what to do.
Film this, film that, film
Yeah,
that.
and we're like, stop.
She was like, film them getting food at the buffet. I was like, you want this? Who's gonna watch this?
Yeah,
Like film the
Classic
food too.
brown
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
footage.
it's
You
like,
know,
people
I can see
eating,
my
getting
mom doing
food.
that shit because she wanted to do that too at our wedding, and I
Yeah.
told her not to. So
Um,
I'm sure the shit that she wanted you guys to film is nothing that the bride wanted.
no, well, they're probably not gonna put it in the final
Nope,
video. Whoever's
not.
editing this video,
Mhm.
we were just
Yeah.
filming. But that was annoying. But yeah, I hate getting micromanaged at these kind of jobs because then what's the point of hiring someone if you don't trust what they do?
Yeah, especially if they're not explicitly a coordinator.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they're not the coordinator or the bride and groom, don't talk to me.
Right, like
let
what are
me
you
do my
doing?
thing.
I don't know who you are.
I think that
Yeah.
should be a key rule to all weddings.
That's
like
yeah.
it's not your wedding.
Especially if like if it's someone's a parent or groom or an uncle coming up and telling you, oh yeah, you should film this, and it's something the bride especially the bride doesn't want at all,
Yeah.
then I'm going against whoever's paying me, whoever hired me, and that's gonna be more of an issue for me
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
in the future.
And I didn't want this. I
most
want my
of-
money back.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, like there were a few times where we stopped filming because it's like they're just like doing their traditional Afghan dance, was like that circle thing, and like we've
Like
already
Garba.
gotten like a few hours of
Yeah.
this.
we're just making a highlight video. They don't need
Yeah.
all this.
And she was like, "Aren't you gonna film this?" I was like, "We've already gotten like the first 3 hours of this. Like, how much more
Who's
of
she? Like
this?"
the aunt?
This
Whoever
that
this person
pseudo
was, I
have no
relative,
idea.
that
Lady, okay.
coordinator,
Someone on the
whatever.
bride side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not the bride.
No. The bride she was nice. Like,
Yeah,
Okay.
she was chilling.
Yeah.
She was very apologetic about everyone being late and stuff. So it was nice.
yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, this person was like, yeah, why aren't you filming this? Like, how much more of this do you need? And no diss to Afghan dancing, but culturally or technically, it is the same thing over and over again.
It's a very slow.
As a dancer, I can say this. it's just
like
them
Garba,
dancing
right?
in a circle.
well, no.
No, it's
I think
It's
Garba
worse?
more
It's slower?
energetic.
low
yeah.
tier Garba.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not to be
I've never
insulting,
heard.
but it is very much the same thing. It can be fun, but filming wise, it isn't. We're not going anywhere with that.
It's not high energy.
No. So we got all that footage and stuff, right? But yeah. So speaking of the couple, they're nice people. It did seem like more of a kind of arranged marriage situation, but
Definitely arranged.
definitely. But then,
I mean, we'll get to why.
it's fine. Not now.
Yuki's eating herself.
Yeah,
For people
Usual
who are listening.
Yuki.
No, Yuki keeps licking her paws until it's like bleeding and raw, and I can't let her do that. Like, I'm not gonna hinder her safety.
It's what it is. She does that all the time.
No.
So she's gonna do it again.
No,
she's gonna do it
she
again.
won't. She won't,
Yuki,
and
come
I'll
here.
stop her.
No.
But I mean, we got fed. Well, we ate last.
We ate very last, which is typically, in my experience, you feed the vendors first so they can go back to work quickly,
Oh, that makes sense.
Right.
rather than wait through the whole line
Yeah.
and then eat,
Yeah.
and then possibly not finish your food or whatever because you have to go back and.
Start
The most
filming.
important thing is for you to work, right?
Right.
So you want to maximize that. So then I was trying to get food first, and then everyone was like, "No, you gotta let everyone else eat."
Yeah, the
I'm
restaurant's like the women have to go first
Like, I'm like,
because it's a
what?
Hmm.
Do you want me? All right, fine, but we're not gonna be
Film.
ready then.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
which it worked out because everyone was late. Everything was late in the end,
Yeah.
and they were just dancing the whole time, so it doesn't matter. But in the grand scheme of things, not the right way to do that, in my opinion.
I mean, we got what we needed. We
Yeah.
got their entrances. They had two changes, like dress
Yeah.
changes. We got the ring exchange.
So at one
family.
point they were all combined, and then it was separated later.
No.
Oh.
The
No,
only
it was
guy in the engagement was the groom.
Oh,
yeah.
you said little brothers and.
They
So
were
they were sitting. So in the restaurant that we were at,
Yeah.
the main eating area was turned into like the hall for
Okay.
and then there was like a tiny strip of just like diner area if people want to go in for the restaurant. So the groom's father, her brother, some other guy,
Okay.
they were sitting on that side.
So when they asked you guys to film this wasn't like come film a wedding. It was it was like a wedding event, like a.
Yeah.
But they still did ring
I guess
exchanges.
since you were the one that's
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't give you much detail.
I didn't get much information from it.
Maybe
It's
they
pretty much, they
combined
just said
everything.
engagement. They kept saying the word engagement. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think they will have a more bigger.
Oh,
wedding.
like kind of how like Bengalis have engagement parties, basically
Yeah.
ceremonies where like the bride's parents give the ring and the groom's parents give the ring, and the bride and groom just stand there, sit there in the middle.
With
Like-
like,
It works
both
the same
families
way.
and stuff, right?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
both families
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
this was not exactly like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so okay. Whatever.
So anyway,
Teach
this
their own.
wedding, it was really late. We ate late and stuff, but it was coming to an end finally, right?
Yeah, around like 11 or so.
Yeah. At some point, we got asked, like the other more men came over, like the bride's father and the groom's father came in, took one picture, and then went to the partition side, right? And then they even came up to me, like asked. Obviously, I took pictures and video of all that stuff, and then they said, "Hey, make sure none of this gets out on social media." I'm like, "What? Why did you
Whoa.
want photos if you didn't want to go out?"
Yeah.
Not like we're gonna be posting them like that, but like,
Right.
how are you guys gonna post it? But anyway, I'm like, yeah, sure,
I feel like it's
whatever.
for
I
their
don't really care.
memories.
Yeah.
This is the decorator that came up to me and told me that. Yeah, he's just the middleman. He's just like, he looked at me. He's like, yeah, you know how these pashtus are. I'm like, all right, damn, if you say
Actually,
so,
I
sure."
don't know how these questions
I don't know. So pashtus are like very conservative Muslims from Afghanistan.
Which they
subsect.
didn't look like that when I first saw them all coming in.
Mm.
Because the women were like in either traditional Afghan dresses or like Western dresses. There's a few
Which
hijabis.
I've noticed. I've
Yeah.
noticed a lot of Afghan weddings and stuff. They will either go full Afghan outfits or full American outfits, but
Mm.
you don't see that in like South Asian weddings. Majority of the time, you see them all dressed up in South Asian clothes.
Yeah.
Or even like East Asian weddings, if it's supposed to be traditional, they'll wear traditional clothes, but not Western clothes.
Yeah,
which
but
is
this
interesting.
because it was an engagement, a women's only engagement, so they're
Yeah.
all free to.
Well, no,
not
I was
cover
gonna
Yeah.
say
their
I've
head or
seen
whatever.
videos and stuff of Afghan weddings in general, whether it's combined or not. A
Right.
lot of people do come in Western clothes and still do the dance around the circle in Western clothes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point.
know?
Maybe they didn't know that we were going to be there.
Yeah.
So they maybe they're normally hijabis.
Oh.
And
Because at the nikah, everyone was wearing a hijab because it was in the mosque.
Uh-oh.
So, but that was also because of the mosque. I don't know.
well,
a lot
that's
of
true
factors.
too.
wait,
anyway.
who hired you?
Oh,
Was it
man.
the bride that hired you?
They hired the company that hired me. It was
And the bride never
subcontract.
said anything about
no.
only girls.
Like tradition.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't think they cared at the end because obviously we were there
yeah.
for 2 days.
well, I mean, you
Learn
can't
on
do
the
anything
spot.
after you're there, though.
I mean, I think they knew that they were
Oh.
we were all male company, so in the end they didn't care. But
Okay.
because like the waiters, they were all male at the
Right, the whole
restaurant. Right? They're not
restaurant,
gonna
yeah.
tell the restaurant, oh, only bring the female
That's
waitresses,
true.
Yeah.
whatever.
I think it's weird because what if one of those male waiters wanted to take a video and put it on his story for just shits and giggles? Then what?
He wouldn't be here.
Them pashtus
We'll
would
tell
get
you
it.
why he wouldn't be here in a second.
Wait.
So all right, so
Oh, you guys keep teasing something.
Yeah.
What happened?
Missing.
So we the end of the night comes, we get told not to take some photos of the guys or post them online, whatever, right? And then that pseudo coordinator comes up and says, "Hey, can you guys actually step out for a second? One of the sisters want to dance, and they don't want to be, and they want any men looking." We're like, sure, whatever. It's a break for us. The night's
Yeah.
almost over, right? We go over to the partition side where the other brothers and other men are sitting, right? We go over there. We start chatting up. This one guy, he tells us that he's a little brother of the bride, right? So we're like, oh, okay, cool. So we're just talking. We ask him just casual things, how they meet. Are you gonna miss your sister when she gets married?
Yeah.
Are they gonna?
Well, pretext. Husband's from London.
Yeah. So
Oh.
husband's from UK. We're like, all right, are you gonna stay in the Americas or go to UK? And he's like, I think they're gonna go to the UK, whatever. And so eventually I asked him, oh yeah, so how did they meet? And he said, they grew up together in Afghanistan. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're like old childhood friends, right? He's like, no, they're cousins.
I don't remember him saying it that way. It was more like because the way he said it, because like I had to sit and think there for a second, because he was like, "Oh, I'm the bride's brother," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then we got into that and how they met and whatnot, and then he's like, "The groom is my cousin," and then I'm just looking, I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Connecting the
Like,
dots
yeah, like,
in real
Connecting
time.
the
it's like
dots of-
the modem dial-up tone that was going through my head. I was like, "Huh?"
So
and-
like first cousins or like second, third? What is the
we didn't
marriage?
pry too much because it seemed like it was the worst option you could think of. Because they said, we all grew up together in Afghanistan for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then we moved to UK and US, and now they met up again. And it just seemed like they're awfully close.
Meet
Yeah.
cute.
And then,
I mean, that still happens.
that still happens.
yeah, that's a
And
thing.
from what I've talked to some of my other Afghani friends, and they say this is kind of common.
Okay, but like
in
back in the day when it
Pashto
happened, it's
people.
because they didn't have any of the knowledge of why you shouldn't be doing
It's-
it. Now you do, and you're choosing to do that
it's
to your
because
kids.
they're very much stereotypically
Pure
conservative
bloodline.
people, and they want to keep
But the
Pashto
pure bloodline, you know what happens, right?
We've seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's some like. Do you remember there's an episode of Community that had incest as a topic?
Yeah.
And they talk about cousins. And at the end of the episode, they give that whole disclaimer. Like one of the writers of the show comes and he's like, I'm the guy who wrote the show. And he gives a disclaimer about, he talks about it for like 5 minutes and like why it's not actually biologically harmful or something. And it's like, only in this specific case
Like,
is
only
it.
percentages, yeah.
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 So
He
it
wanted
really
to marry his
depends on what-
cousin. That guy wanted to marry his cousin. That's why he was saying
The
that
disclaimer, he
shit.
said, like,
He's like, I'm married to my cousin.
I was allowed to write this
He's from
episode if I
Alabama.
made this disclaimer
Yeah, he was
at
like,
the end.
they said that I was allowed to, yeah.
It's just,
Oh,
but
my
that's what it kind of felt like.
Can't offend a certain group of people.
So we're like, we're aghast, right? But that wasn't the craziest thing that happened
Oh
that
my
night.
God.
right?
That wasn't it?
That wasn't it.
Oh,
so
no.
we're still talking to the little brother. And we're like, okay, that's weird. We're not gonna pry any further. Moving on. And then the father of either the bride or the groom comes
the
up to
bride.
us, right? I
Pretty
think
sure
the
it's bride.
bride, yeah. And he goes up and tells us again, hey, don't post the pictures online or anything. And we're like, yeah. He is broken English, right? So he's saying just a few words here and there. He's like, no post, no online. I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I got you. And he's like, he turns around and he comes back, no TikTok. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's hilarious.
No
Blah, blah, blah. He turns around, comes back, Taliban.
Yo.
Taliban. I was like, and he starts laughing. I'm like, yeah, definitely, yeah. And he just
Oh my God, is it
laughs
because
and
you guys
walks
are brown?
away.
Huh?
So
What'd you say?
Is it because you guys are brown and you look stereotypically
I think
terroristy?
Taliban's from Afghanistan.
No, I know that, but like the
But he said I.
He said, I Taliban.
I think he said I.
So
Wait, what?
Yeah.
he was threatening your life.
So we're not sure if he's.
Yeah.
Oh, but he was like laughing.
He was laughing.
was
but
like,
it
I'm
could
not-
have been
yeah.
evil laugh.
If it could have been a joke like,
Right.
oh, Taliban, be careful, we're Afghani, blah, blah. Or
I mean,
like,
maybe Taliban.
It took us a few seconds
People
because
can-
I'm just like, did I hear him correctly? Like, you drive a minivan? Like, what are you trying to tell us? And then he's like, nah, I Taliban. And then we're just like, oh, he actually said
Oh my
the
God,
word.
the FBI is listening to this right now,
Yeah,
guys.
he said the word that we think he said.
on the record, I don't think he's part of any terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
And
I
off
think
the
he was
record, he
joking.
is.
Yeah.
But like, the thing was like, is he saying it to be threatening or is he saying it like, hey,
he was laughing.
I
a little
left
bit.
Afghanistan. I don't want.
Yeah. Is
People
he on the
enough.
run
Yeah, it
from
sounded
it?
like he was like, don't post on TikTok because
The Taliban
the
will
threat
find him.
of the Taliban. I don't
Right.
know.
Like, we couldn't tell which one it was.
I don't know how important you guys are to the ranking of the Taliban. Are you guys on the run from them? I don't know.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like
that
maybe,
was.
maybe he's part of it, and like he didn't want his fellow Taliban people to know they weren't invited to his child's wedding.
That is his concern.
Yeah.
Listen, my mom was concerned about this person's mother's sister not coming to my wedding.
Are
and then
they
finding out-
related to an organization that
I
is
don't
on
know.
a
My
watch
mother
list?
has a lot of weird things going on in her life. I don't know.
Watch
Dude.
list?
Is your mom part of a terrorist organization?
Dude, the CIA is eating on this episode.
Name's Raheem T's on the T stands for.
Taliban! Oh, we should
No, it does not.
No, it does- and the T stands for
Treason.
terrorism.
Oh no.
On the day after
Oh, no.
former U.S. President
Dude.
Donald J. Trump was almost assassinated.
All right.
We had nothing to do with it.
Next episode just has to be why we love this country
No.
for an hour. Why
We're
we
never
leave
leaving.
it- Why we
Episode.
love staying in this country.
America.
MAGA 2024.
Sucks.
Next,
America
everyone's
sucks.
required outfit is red, white, and blue. No
Hey,
matter-
yo. America sucks.
I got a red one. Well, there's no red.
There's a lot of
There's no
white
red.
and blue.
Just a lot of white.
There's red in the background.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that was our most interesting wedding so far.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds fun, though. Having
Yeah.
these stories.
I
you
think
know?
he was joking.
I like to think
sure.
so.
I think he was
yeah.
Oh God, I hope
It's
Yeah.
so.
just he went for like his deep pocket joke. Like, this is the
Yeah, I think
last
he's
one.
like-
He reached in.
Whatever
and
he
got that.
thought would be the funniest.
He's like, yeah.
He went for the shock factor.
Yeah. Another funny thing is that on the beginning, when the bride and the family came in, the groom's brother, he was like the only other guy there. He was talking to me, and he had like a thick British accent, right? And he was like, he shook my hand. He was like, "Oh, you actually filmed my wedding before." I'm like,
Oh,
what? First, I didn't understand him because of his accent. He was speaking pretty softly. He has also had soft hands, so he was like a very soft handshake, and that threw me off. I was like, he's a bigger guy. He had, like
He was a
his hand was like
huge
3
dude.
times my size.
oh, gentle
So
giant.
it's very
Yeah.
gentle giant. I didn't expect that. So mine was on that handshake. I didn't hear it
It's
properly.
like, what do you
I was
use?
like, yeah, why is it so fucking soft?
It's homemade cream.
So I asked him like, what?
Homemade with what?
Yeah.
He's actually a
Green.
gooner.
Laguna.
Wow, you circled back so nicely with that.
Goonie.
So I asked him to repeat it. It's like, what did you say? It's like, yeah, you were here last December, right in this place. I was like, we've never met before. It's like, you don't remember me. He's like, you don't remember me. I don't. You're confusing me with some other brown guy. It's like, oh, maybe you're right. But, I'm sorry. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, you're twin.
We all look
I
the
cannot
same.
possibly look like any other brown guy. Like, I made it my mission.
I'm.
Well,
What?
my hair.
Whoa.
Your hair is not blonde anymore.
It's no brown guy has hair. I guess better.
I confuse a dude in Costco
Yeah.
for Raheem at least once a month.
Are you doing a bit right now? You're kidding, right? Your hair looks like Prithvi's hair right now. Like what? Yikes!
I like that.
I mean, look.
Costco too.
Yeah,
Like,
that was.
that's the only place I'm
It
gonna find.
wasn't Costco specifically. It was just
Costco or
Oh,
George
funny.
Mason University.
yeah.
one of the two.
Oh God!
Yeah, I don't know why he thought I was here. This is my first time at this venue. First time seeing a British Afghani guy, but he just confused me for some other guy. He's like, "Yeah, you filmed my wedding with my wife in December, right?" I was like, "What the fuck are you talking?
Yeah.
You're not talking to me." It was very. A lot of
Are you
things
sure
happened
you
at that
didn't?
wedding.
You don't remember?
Who knows?
I feel like he'd remember these weddings.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
He probably married his cousin too. Shit.
Oh my gosh! Wait. Speaking of marrying cousins,
Yeah.
I know a
What?
Bengali. No, I know a Bengali family. 4 sisters. The youngest one's not married. The other 3 are. All 3 of them married 3 different cousins. First cousins.
From the same family.
Actually,
or?
I think you know the family. We'll talk about it later. But like,
I'm not the cousin, by the way.
You know.
Let's clarify that.
no, it's a. You do know the family. I'm pretty sure, or you know the people they're friends with. This is the person that you met at the bathroom.
Okay.
That
This is
no,
getting-
In my bathroom?
Out of context, this is not good.
That uncle that uncle that you saw in the bathroom whose name we won't say right now.
Also, really bad context.
You meeting uncles in the bathroom? Alright.
Anyways, that
I was
uncle,
at a hotel.
Yes, that you met an
And I
uncle
ran
in the
into the
bathroom.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
yeah. But that uncle is family friends with this family I'm talking about. But the
I see
4
what you're
girls,
saying.
the youngest one's not married yet, but I'm sure she'll marry her cousin.
That's not nice.
Not
Maybe
married.
she might break the trend.
No, she's gonna marry her cousin.
No.
No.
Look at
3 out of 4.
3 out of
these
3 out of
Strong.
4.
Three out of
four
four.
brothers clearly have different choices in wives. You know.
Oh, that's true. You had the best one. Love.
Nicolas Cage.
I mean, no offense to the other two.
Still-
You know,
I mean, yeah,
still-
no offense to the other 2 that are not going to listen to this at all, but you know, love versus religion.
They're a
You
little
gotta
bit more on the
bleep that out
traditional
now.
religious
Yeah.
side, I guess. We'll just.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's traditional. I think it's a different version.
They're more religious.
Well,
Yes.
I think all 4 of us are very different from each other, so we all married.
Do you think Roby's
different-
going to marry for love or religion?
My youngest brother?
I think your youngest brother will marry love.
Gonna,
He's
My
married to the
youngest brother-
art of
I was gonna say he's
barbering.
married to the game.
He's married to the game.
100% tip.
We can't. I don't think we can predict what he'll do because his whole life, his last few years have been upended because of COVID. Like he didn't have a proper high school graduation. Like he had a COVID graduation,
He
which
didn't
is
have a
just
proper
us
college.
like 6 going to the office, picking up his degree, and taking a picture. He didn't have a proper college thing.
Oh, yeah, he's done with
to the
college.
point, and then he started a very successful business, which made him pretty much drop out of college, change to online, just to get a degree, just to satisfy my parents. But
I got a
he's living
haircut
life. He's
from
doing
this Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
does he watch the podcast?
probably
I don't
not.
think none
Okay,
of them
if
do.
he does, I'm sorry I haven't seen you in so long. You moved really far away.
Yeah,
I miss you.
Aw. He can do house calls. It just costs
You
double.
should
Just
change that
custom
first
analysis.
option on the
Yeah.
tip screen to back to 15%.
Roby should do house calls
Not
and
50.
charge double.
He does charge double for house calls.
Oh,
He
there
does
you
house
go.
calls? I don't know that.
I think by house calls I mean his like where he lives. People come to his house.
I meant
Instead
like.
of
Oh,
going to the
yeah.
office.
Oh
meant
yeah,
like
he's got after hour. Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
Well,
that.
no, I was gonna say if he has like just take his clippers with him and go to someone's house.
You need
That's
the
the-
station. You need the
Okay, but don't you have
station.
like a whole like? Doesn't most barber people have like a whole like suitcase full of all their different materials that they need, and then they can just pack
Oh,
it all up
yeah,
and go
sure.
somewhere like makeup
That's a
artists
thing.
do.
But
and-
the point is,
girl
why would you
hair
spend like
styles
this is
do.
gonna be like $100 haircut? Why would you need to do that?
well, I mean, if you miss him so much, you would spend the amount. Right.
Well, I
I don't
don't
think he
know.
misses
Roby
that
would-
much.
It's
if it makes
Yeah.
sense to him to go out that far.
Mm.
For,
Can I just pause and say, is your shirt from like back in the day? Those like frog shows, a movie.
Yeah, it's
Frog
Toad
and
and
Toad.
Frog.
Toad
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Frog.
Wow.
Yeah. Says,
It's a-
I can't read it upside
Nostalgia.
down. We must stop eating, said Toad, as he ate another
Yes,
one.
he ate another. Same.
that's
Sorry,
good
totally
life
distracting me.
lesson.
I just
Yeah.
realized like what that was.
good life.
That's
Yeah.
me and salt
Me
and vinegar
me and
chips.
Conan got the same.
That's
shirt.
Aw, cute.
I was gonna relate that back to marriage, but it might be a little messed up.
Toad and
Say it.
Frog definitely
Say it.
banging.
Say it. Say the marriage.
Platonically, though.
The thing that you just said is like we must stop eating as he's eating another, and there's probably marriages where they should probably like
Stop.
Stop
Pump
being
the
married
brake.
as they continue to be married.
Yeah.
Or no. I mean, like, you know how we were talking about like people who get divorced and get remarried, and it's just like you
Right.
might want to like slow
Chill for
down,
a second.
figure out
Yeah.
why the first
Yeah.
one went,
Stop trying for love,
Yeah.
then there's some other issue going on.
Oh yeah.
do some self work kind of
It's
thing.
actually commentary on hedonism.
Hedonism.
But that's true though, because I think
People
maybe marriage has become a hedonistic thing versus
Wait,
a.
I don't understand that. What is hedonism?
Basically, like your primary goal is just pleasure.
self pleasure.
Or,
Oh,
yeah,
you
just
seek
seek
oh, like
pleasure.
a heathen.
Like, that's your-
heathen, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
okay.
thinking of heathen with a
Yes.
th.
Oh,
Hedon
no.
is Hedon.
Oh, I don't know what this is.
But it's related. They mean the same thing.
Oh, okay,
Heathen is a
okay.
person, or you just
Well,
gotta-
no, heathen's like a person that's like
heathen is like unholy.
Unholy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
but-
related to like they're unholy because they
They're marrying for
they
lust.
move
Oh, they
towards
kinda-
lust,
pleasure.
and
yeah.
pleasure.
Okay, that's
and
what I was
stuff.
thinking.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
heathen,
okay.
Yeah,
being
yeah. So hedonism is
Oh,
a
those
description
two.
of
Yeah, it
people.
might
It's
be
a-
related.
Yeah, I think they're the
terms.
same
Okay,
words.
then I
different
get it. Okay.
Conjugation.
But
Oh,
hedonism.
yeah, there are
Different
people who get married for the
etymologies.
pleasure of the person, and then it goes away after the concept of marriage shows up. Or some people get married just to be able to do it, and then they're like, "Oh, that's."
But I think
it.
that on the other side, I think people who get married because they think they're better than, oh, I'm getting married for love, or married because I'm intellectually stimulated, and they look down on anyone else who's like, oh, look, they're getting married just to bang or whatever, and they think they're so much better the other person.
Yeah.
When I think it's
Yeah.
Marriage is, or any relationship is
It's
a
a
mix
little
of
bit
both.
of everything.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
physical pleasure and emotional pleasure. You need both to be in a relationship. I think, and
Yeah.
in my opinion, that's both. That's what a romantic
I
relationship
agree
is.
with
But
you.
like-
Not now, Nicolas Cage.
But I think people forget that like sometimes marriages will have their lulls and just like
Mm-hmm.
baseline moments where it's not always
Oh, yeah.
exciting, right?
I think that's the biggest thing. People forget that marriage is
Oh,
supposed to be
marriage-
up and down.
yeah.
It's not supposed to be
Because
woo
it's just
the
you
whole
living
time.
life with another person,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it's
And
life
life is
isn't
hard.
always interesting.
Yeah.
Life is sometimes boring or hard or difficult.
yeah.
Sometimes it's great.
And getting through it makes us stronger.
Says the Oscar award-winning actor Nicolas Cage.
You know, it doesn't make sense. He got an Oscar, but it took how long for Leonardo DiCaprio to get one?
That's unrelated. We
Well,
all know he was
completely related.
Leo
Yeah,
was
we
snubbed
still
for
like Leo.
years.
What
Oh,
did
yeah.
Cage get an Oscar for?
I don't
Some
know.
shit that wasn't deserved. Yeah, I agree.
Actually, I don't know if he ever won an Oscar.
Oh.
I
Wait,
just
you're
say
making
it.
shit up? If he's nominated, it does not count. Because a bunch of people are nominated in the world. What? He hasn't won anything. You've been talking shit? Yeah, look it up, Prithvi. Look it up.
I have no idea.
I doubt he's
I
won
wanna
anything.
say
His
he's won
acting's not
something.
that good.
Okay, first of all, his acting is great.
Okay,
Everyone
if
recognizes
he won
him
a
as
Kids'
star.
Choice Award, it does not count. Okay,
Kids' Choice
or
Award.
a Teen's Choice Award does
If
not.
he gets
fucking count.
slimed, it counts more than an Oscar.
His acting is basically, you know how there's people who just are themselves.
That's what I said. He acts as himself, just like Will Smith does. That's what I said. And he's like, he's not like Will
Oh.
Smith. I'm like, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He plays himself in every movie he's in.
Now the question
Tell
is,
me the truth.
Is he actually like that in person? That's the other part.
Why is he
He-
playing the same character in all the movies?
Wait. Let's see. Did
He won Best Actor in 1996
1996.
for Leaving Las Vegas.
So he was good back then and sucked everywhere else now.
That is not what that means. You think
exactly
the same
what it
actor wins Best Actor every year?
If he was good enough.
So Leo wasn't good enough until The Revenant.
No, can I just say he should have won for Titanic, but he didn't because there were so many other movies that came out during that time period.
Leo has a
Was it
giant
96?
discography of great good
Right?
movies.
Was it 96?
Yeah.
I forgot. That was like a
Leo's
pretty
solid.
intense movie year.
It was, and it was, and Titanic should he should have won something for Titanic. That's like the biggest thing everyone talks about. Like, oh, he should have won. He should have
I
won
think
for
he has
that one.
a lot better movies. I think Wolf of Wall Street
Than
was a lot
Titanic.
better.
Well, that was years
That
later.
was-
That was years
yeah.
later. I'm
So we
talking
got
about,
to look about everything.
no, but I'm talking about back then when he was a young actor. He was fabulous in that movie, and even looking back, like he still was so good at the age that he was at, and he won nothing.
If
for
we're talking
that.
about young Leo, I think Catch Me If You Can was better.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a
good
movie
That
where he
was-
impersonated several different people
Yeah.
and just lived a grifter's life.
He was
And
acting as an actor, as an actor.
That's my
Yeah,
personal
like,
that was
thing
deep.
is that if an actor can do multiple roles in the same, if they can be fucking Tyler Perry's Medea, that deserves an Oscar.
But you agree,
Eddie
Nicolas
Murphy,
Cage
Eddie
was
Murphy,
himself.
yeah, give me Eddie
And
Murphy
everything.
in a bunch
Or
of
he
different
plays
outfits.
the same role.
That's-
kind of like Zendaya. You don't like Zendaya's acting because she plays the same character and everything. Same thing with Nicolas
She
Cage.
does.
I'm trying to.
She does, but
But I think Nicolas Cage,
How
that
many
character he
movies?
plays, well, whoever he
Oh.
is a crazy person.
yes,
and that
but he's
being that crazy
consistently the
is
same thing.
so entertaining.
But Zendaya's character in all the movies she's played is supposed to be a stoic person. You
That's not
can't.
entertaining. That's the problem.
She's stoic.
But she's supposed she's a little stoic.
She
and,
the last
like a
three major roles have been
stoic
kind of the
Yeah.
same.
Gen
like,
Z
especially like in,
Her Euphoria,
Yeah.
her Dune,
Kid.
and
Moody kid.
It's a
very
moody, yes, very
kid.
moody.
Because that tennis movie that just came out. Like,
I
I think
haven't
that
seen
was
that
their
one.
most different
yeah,
one.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that one. I can't.
That
talk
was
about
a-
that
yeah,
one.
even that you could tell it was she was channeling kind of the same
there's a vibe,
Persona.
like a very
similar.
yeah. But again, Nicolas Cage is the same thing. So, and
Dude,
I
yeah.
love Will Smith, but Will Smith does the same thing too.
Will Smith does. He's,
Yeah,
I
but-
mean, he's started to do that after a while.
He
He's
would
like
go-
I Am Legend.
yes,
was
yeah.
a great-
Oh,
that was a different
Hitchcock.
character.
Hitchcock was the
Hitchcock
same.
was a different character.
No, I
mean
think
Hitchcock.
those-
You can see some
Those
of
two
the
were
Will
very
Smith.
similar.
you see
Yeah,
that
Hitchcock
Will
was just
Smith.
alcoholic Will Smith.
Alcoholic
Yeah.
Will Smith.
I was gonna say I feel like Fresh Prince of Bel Air was so good and iconic that he took that character and just brought it with everything else. But like
Yeah,
you don't,
Fresh Prince was just he was being himself.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like it was just
But
And
he
that was
took-
his
based on
breakout role.
But he
him.
took that
Yeah.
because he was being himself, and he took that as, oh, I'm a great actor, which it was a great show. But he took that and took it to all the movies he went into. In my humble
He
opinion.
has some other roles where I think the director or whoever he's working with brought out a different side of him.
Yeah.
I Am Legend was one. Pursuit of Happiness. That was like
That was a
one of
great
his.
movie.
He won
Yeah.
an award for that, right? He won awards for that
He
one.
This
did.
is a conversation we should
think.
have with Conan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
There's so many fact check things that I'm like
she would know.
I need to
She would know
She
when
would-
I don't want to
Nicolas
say the
Cage
wrong
won that
thing.
Oscar.
Yeah.
She would also know that. Oh, actually, no, she's a fan of Nicolas Cage too. Never
Yeah.
mind.
We're
I
definitely
can't
getting
think
her.
of a bad Nicolas Cage movie that I've
Exactly.
No,
Well,
wait,
no,
wait, wait,
I'm
wait.
Reba's
sorry.
a hater.
I'm
because
sorry.
she likes her
His
style.
movies, wait,
That's
pause.
different.
His movies are not bad. I just think he's an ugly ass man, and that this man is obsessed with it. Makes no
She
sense.
just hates him because he's ugly now. Okay.
But
I
I also
see.
don't think he's a good
You
actor.
thinking he's ugly is fine.
Wait,
That-
wait. And his movies are good,
But-
but he himself, I don't think is a great actor. I think the movies, like I love National Treasure. Don't get me wrong; those movies are great. But
Should've won an
he
Oscar for that one.
sucks. He does not like. I think the outside characters, like the other characters, were better than him in that movie.
Oh,
In my
yeah.
Very
As I
humble
said that
opinion.
statement, I was like, "Oh shoot, Ghost Rider." That was not a good movie. 1 and 2, like 2 was
like-
really bad.
I liked one. One was
no
good.
Ghost Rider.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
you liked
At
it
the
because Nicolas Cage was in
time,
it. Let's be
it
real.
Well, yeah, it's general. That's the baseline, but it wasn't like it wasn't Green Lantern bad. I would say
Wait, he was Green Lantern.
no.
That was the
Oh, I
other
gonna say.
notoriously bad superhero movie
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
of the recent
All
years.
Do you
right,
think
I
they're
mean-
both better than Madam Web?
I haven't seen Madam Web.
Madam
yet.
Web was
I
You
heard.
haven't seen it.
I
at
heard
least in
bad
those
things.
2 movies, Ghost Rider and Green Lantern. There's actually a superhero that does superheroing stuff.
Change outfits.
Madam
Right.
Web, everything that happened with like they put on a suit, they actually become their iconic comic hero, whatever, is all in a dream sequence. It never
Oh.
actually happens.
Oh.
It never actually like the trailer showed 3 Spider Women.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney was a Spider Woman.
Right.
That's all a dream sequence. They don't actually.
They never actually
Do
do
that.
that.
Oh, man.
It's almost
Yeah.
like an introduction movie that they
It's-
should have not
it's
done.
The most strangest writing choices.
Yeah.
Ever.
That sounds like Sucker
Also-
Punch. If you ever saw that movie,
I like that one.
It was a
That
good
was
I
movie.
like
good.
Sucker
It was
Punch.
a good movie.
People thought that was bad, but I
I
like
like
Snyder.
it.
I like his thing.
Is Sucker,
Yeah.
Sucker Punch is the one where they're like in their minds also, and like it's all those
Yeah.
girls in the insane
Yeah.
asylum, right? Isn't it a
They're
asylum?
they're in some type
Some
of
sort of thing. Yeah, I like that one. It was different.
It was a
They're
good
trying to
movie.
escape the orphanage or asylum there.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But every time they do a heist, they
It
do
goes
like
into their
a
head.
she's like
They use like
schizophrenic or
a
whatever.
visual
Yeah,
to
yeah,
explain
yeah.
what they're doing. Yeah.
No, but it's really cool the way they showed it.
yeah, no, I like
Yeah.
that movie.
It was a good movie.
All right.
Back to weddings.
We're off topic, but we can
wait.
wrap this up now.
Quickly, question for you two, actually. If you guys were to get married one day, would you want to go shebang, big, brown, and everything, or do you want it simplistic?
Big brown and everything. That's what I.
Big
That's
brown.
me after some
That's
Chipotle. You know what I'm saying?
biggest-
That's how I describe
Brownest?
myself on
Veiniest.
That's I don't know that part.
Ew.
That's me with the uncles in the
I thought that's
bathroom.
where she was going.
That's Duhin with
She's going
uncles
the
in the
gooner
bathroom.
route.
Whoa. Look,
Showing
man.
your vein.
No, I did not. I just saw someone familiar in a public bathroom. I said, "Hey, what's up?" That's
You
all.
opened the
That's
stall. I know you.
I did not do that. That was the door to the public bathroom, not the
Yeah.
stall.
He was
All right.
peeing in the urinal. I recognize that pee stream.
I just heard the sound of it hitting the water. I'm like, I know.
That's a line Nicolas
I
Cage
know.
would say. I just want you to know. That's absolutely a line Nicolas Cage would say in one of his recent movies.
No wonder you don't think I'm funny because Nicolas Cage is not funny. Huh.
I'm taking you to see Long Legs tonight.
No, I'm not
taking
watching a
you.
scary movie.
I saw Renfield. That was okay. If I remember correctly.
The vampire one, right?
Ew.
He's a weird vampire. Like he's not a.
He's so ugly. He can't be a vampire. That's
He's
an
not a-
insult to vampires.
Well, he was Dracula.
He looked
That's an
exactly like I
insult.
imagined Dracula to be.
Oh, you know what? Dracula is the
That
only
pointy
ugly
face
vampire in
and-
the world. Yeah.
That's actually true. He actually looks like the iconic Dracula
Yeah.
of the '60s or whatever.
Which is ugly.
They should be ugly. Twilight has done irreparable damage to the image
To
of
vampire-
vampires.
Wait, wait,
They're
wait,
not
wait.
sparkly. They're not sexy.
Wait, I just
They're
wanna-
monsters,
I want to
bro.
point out Twilight,
Irreparable.
Twilight the movie. None
Bring
of those
back
men were
ugly
attractive.
vampires.
Werewolves
They
are
were
ugly.
ugly.
Wait, we're interrupting Ariba again.
Yeah, shut up. The vampires from Twilight were not attractive. The vampires from Vampire Diaries were attractive.
First of all, don't
Okay,
Ian
so the
Somerhalder
vampires from
is
Twilight
again in this
were
house.
attractive. Just kidding.
that one.
No,
chick
but
was-
like
What?
traditionally, that's what people
No,
like the vampires from Twilight, right?
Wait,
Yeah, they were
I think
hot.
a lot of guys have this misconception. They think that women are obsessed with vampires because of Twilight. No, most women, if you ask them, are obsessed with vampires because of Vampire Diaries. Because Ian Somerhalder,
Summerfield.
yeah,
Oh.
not
Somewhere.
Oh my
He
God.
is
Midsummer.
when most women of my age, like
Yeah, it's a CW
millennials,
show,
yeah.
so they're known for just hiring
Yeah.
models.
Hot
Yes,
actors.
no,
Yeah.
legit. Like
Jared
Nina Dobrev.
Padalecki.
Nina Dobrev was
She's gorgeous.
fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Nina
She's
Dobrev.
still gorgeous to this
Yeah.
day. But when
Not a
when
vampire.
girls think of she became a vampire. She was a vampire.
Spoilers.
Irreparable damage.
But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of girls actually hated how Twilight was sparkly demons. Like what the fuck is that?
I don't see that, but like everyone,
actually, it
Team
wasn't-
Edward, people were fond.
that
like,
was different. That
frothing
was
at the mouth
that was
for
not because of the
Edward
vampire.
Cullen.
That was just a discussion of who was hotter, the guy who played Jacob or
Taylor
the one
Taylor?
who played Edward.
Taylor Taylor.
Because Taylor
His-
Lautner played the werewolf, and he dated
married-
Taylor Swift. So they were.
No, he
Taylor
also
Taylor.
married a girl named Taylor.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
both of their names are
he did
Taylor
marry
Lautner.
Taylor Swift,
Yeah,
but now he married someone named Taylor.
nobody named Taylor, and now both of their names are Taylor
Nobody.
Lautner.
She was somebody.
Damn.
I meant like not a
Her
famous
daddy
person.
mattered.
Listen, I just meant like
You weren't a werewolf in the 6-book series movies.
But I
But,
think
like-
most girls like vampires because of Vampire Diaries, not because of
Yeah.
Twilight. I think
I
Twilight,
mean-
the books were amazing.
It
That's
still
how-
sounds like hot vampires, though.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
But I think that
literally describe them as sparkling.
outside of
yeah.
our generation, I think the hot vampire thing still existed because you had Underworld, which you had
Buffy
like
the Vampire Slayer.
Kate
Mila
Beckinsale.
Jovovich.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Buffy.
like an easy horror genre to also cross over into like sexy.
Sex. Yeah.
There's- I saw this
Oh,
one
I'm
image
gonna
where
suck
like
your blood.
Yeah, which is supposed to get all the tinglies.
if
and stuff,
men
yeah.
have like porn, women's version of like like online Pornhub kind of whatever how you describe porn. Women's porn is
still porn.
books.
books like monster fucking.
No,
And it's so funny because that's such a big genre.
I can't disagree with
Barnes
that.
and Nobles
No,
I
makes
think,
the
I
whole
think
section.
you're referring to fantasy smut.
Yeah, no. Okay.
That's a real genre because Barnes and Noble's actual whole smut section
Yes,
of like
yeah, I do
women
agree with
fall in
that.
love with monsters, werewolves, vampires, eldritch
because
demons.
we want to be taken by a man
Cthulhu.
who acts like a monster.
And it's because women are literate. They know how to read.
They know how to read and they know how to change
Can I just
them.
say the reason why men are associated with porn
I can
more?
change this demon.
Men are associated with porn more, and women with book porn smut books is because I think like
They
women
can read.
Well, yes, men can't. But like, I also think like women just didn't want to be associated with the images of porn like men do, because women watch porn more often than you think.
It's a male-dominated industry.
Indeed.
It's probably
In a
tailored.
sense.
It's like created for men.
Male viewers, female participants.
Not really. Not really. A lot of porn is now
Women
for everybody. I
centric.
think it's.
Oh yeah, I'm saying like just generally
Equality.
like porn
Oh.
industry,
We won.
like
Yes,
porn as
yeah.
a thing
When it started.
I
was
didn't
It was
say
created
created
for
by some nasty man who
by
wanted
men
to,
for
yeah.
men kind of thing,
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
By
yeah.
men
I
for-
think I don't know
I'm
if I'm just
assuming.
making that up.
I think when it
It's-
started,
that's-
Most things were
Right.
were like that. Makeup is like that. Makeup was made for men first. Makeup was created back in the day for only men to wear. Women didn't wear it.
isn't that the whole high heel story too? Like,
Yes,
wasn't
heels were created for men because notoriously men were shorter back then.
I heard it was because
European.
this part doesn't sound right as I think about it, but it's made for butchers, so their clothes wouldn't get steeped in the blood on the floor.
Wait, what?
Oh, that
The
makes
heels?
sense. The shoes.
So
wouldn't
like
get
they're
steeped in
so
the
then
blood?
like
Oh, like
if
the
they wear low
platform.
pants,
Oh.
that wouldn't drag on the floor.
I heard European royalty created heels because emperors or kings and stuff were so short compared to like.
incest.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
That's
I would
true.
not be
You don't
surprised.
think all the royalty had incest?
So
Oh my God, I am not
Napoleon-
surprised.
That's
No, yeah, that's like
100%.
keep it in the
Yeah.
family.
Well,
The
but yeah,
French.
I heard a lot of
Keep the land in the family.
European kings and dukes
They'll
and
take the
whatever.
house, right?
They would wear heels because they were shorter than their wives or like their subjects or their daughters even. Like,
Yeah.
That makes sense
Yeah.
with the whole, why they
I mean,
wear wigs too.
Yeah, Lord
what's
Farquaad.
the French guy? Yeah,
Napoleon.
Napoleon. He
Farquaad.
was short as shit. He's seen in images wearing heels.
He was tiny, and
He was
then
really
the
tiny.
movie that's coming out, it's played by Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah.
He's not short, but what
Joaquin.
you're saying is
Yeah.
I think royalty might be a.
See, you have to remember the kings back then. They were short kings, literally. So you should be happy. To
how
be a
did we
short
get
king.
here? Wouldn't you ask them what their ideal wedding would be like?
Yeah.
We were talking about
Well, because I said
porn.
Big Brown, and then all of you guys went to like.
Oh man, then we went
Instead
straight to
of
porn.
vampires and porn. And, oh my god.
So, would you, Prithvi, like a big brown wedding, or would you like a simple wedding?
Dude, you can go first.
Okay,
I'm going first.
Going straight from porn into the.
He needs to shift.
He
I need
wants a
a
porn
buffer. I
wedding.
need
He wants a porn
I
wedding.
need to preserve the sanctity of this topic.
Oh, so I have to go first.
yeah,
'Cause I gotta
He's
ruin
not a
it.
heathen.
Hedonism.
Hedonism. Yes. No. What would I want in my?
Yeah. Would you marry a Bengali first of all?
I would.
Okay. Would you marry a Muslim?
Yeah.
Dang, answer right now.
No, I mean, like you could say no. I don't
A
want.
Muslim?
I mean, you could say no.
You trying to like find me something on
No, absolutely not.
chat?
I'm not your parents. I'm not the aunties and uncles. You
Doing
find your own
signal,
person.
ladies. Whoever's
Just put the bio
watching
data.
and reading.
Find your
Bottom
own
banner.
man and woman.
33.
33.
33. Yeah. All right. Yeah. 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 There we go. Yeah.
Still 33 when this comes out.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I'm cool with Bengali, Muslim,
Yeah.
stuff like that. No issues there. But for the wedding aspect, I kind of am more of a low key person, so I
Yeah.
don't think I want the extravagant.
So then what if your girl does? Or boy, whatever you want.
Well, if she wants something huge, then I mean, I'm a very compromising person. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
like there's things worth fighting for and things not worth fighting for.
Yeah.
If she wants a massive wedding, I'll
Gotta make her happy.
financially I might rob somebody, but
That's
yeah.
You,
I'll go in the bathroom.
you can use her house.
Give me the money.
Oh, that's what I was doing. I
Dude,
was,
the
I
stall.
was practicing.
No, that uncle is rich. You could take his money.
That's family friend. You can't rob your family
Yeah.
friend.
That's exactly
Only
what you should be
strangers.
robbing.
No, because then if you get
They won't tell on
invited,
you because their family friends are like, oh, what will people say if I tell on them? So they won't tell on you.
Nah, I don't know about that.
This reminds me of when we asked, "What would you do if the purge happened?" and Reeb was like, "Murder immediately."
You didn't finish the question. It's murder. Kill Reem.
I said I would kill someone because they're going to come
That's
kill
what
me.
murder is. Thank you for defining it.
Listen. There's a difference between murder and protecting yourself.
But you said murder.
Yeah.
No, I said kill
Exactly. You
someone.
said-
I would kill people. I said I would kill people.
Yeah, I
I did
think
not
it's
say the
like
word
if-
murder. I would kill people.
I don't remember.
Listen, if the purge happened, the first thing I would do is finish that assassination attempt that someone failed at yesterday.
So murder.
No, this episode's coming out in 3 months. So yesterday is like what happened yesterday.
I'm talking about the Trump assassination. That failed.
Oh.
Listen, they could kill JFK, who's a good person. They killed JFK, who's a good person, and that didn't
Are you
fail.
still hung up on the JFK assassination?
Yes, everyone should be hung up on that JFK assassination.
We need
He's
to
a good
end this
president.
episode with the Pledge of Allegiance for our own safety.
We the people.
That's the
So-
Constitution.
The preamble.
To the Constitution.
Okay, but like I don't know.
Oh man.
What I was gonna say.
I don't think I memorized.
I have that song
I
memorized. It's a
used to
song.
have it memorized because we had to do it in 6th grade.
Yeah,
right.
because it was insane how
The
cultish
preamble?
schools are sometimes.
The preamble. Like you had to have
Oh, you
memorized.
remember the
We the
preamble?
people,
Oh,
in
Oh,
order
what?
to form
I
a
only
more
had the pledge.
perfect union, establish justice in
Really?
something, 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 something.
We didn't
Yeah,
get a
it's whole
song.
There's a school rock
Oh, we
song.
only
Oh,
learned
we-
the
That's why I know it.
pledge.
I only had the conjunction,
Allegiance.
junction, function part.
Oh, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
don't
flag
need to
of
do
the
it right
United
now.
States of America. He
You
said
don't
you
even
should
have
do
a
it.
flag.
Patriotism
I'm
now.
patriotic.
Your patriotism went out the door.
Yeah.
A few
Remember
months
when they
ago.
knock, when the CIA knocks on our door?
I don't make my students do the Pledge of Allegiance at all, and if they do, I'm like, fine, go for it. But
Do they still like announce? Like, do you
They
do
do
morning
it.
announcements
Yes,
and do all
yeah.
that? Oh,
And they like, I've had teachers come up to me and say like, oh, everyone has to stand up and do it. And I'm like, no, they have the word God in it. I'm not going to make any kids say this. Like that's
that
not
was
fair.
your reason.
Yes, because it says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
Well,
of
I
America,
know
blah, 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 blah.
it's in there, but like,
My reason is because, yeah, a lot of these kids, some of the kids don't believe in the same God. Some of them don't believe in God at all. I don't believe in God. Like it's not fair.
I
To
was gonna
force
go with
them to
like,
do it.
it's just more patriotic for them to choose what they want to do.
Oh, that too. It is also well, but
Freedom.
they're so young;
That
they
is
don't really
true.
understand that concept of like patriotism. They think America's America. Like they don't see the good and bad of it just yet because they're
Right.
so young. In high school, it's very different. Like
Yeah, but like
you
you can
know.
teach kids like America's a free country. You
Yes,
can
yes.
choose to.
yeah, I mean yes, and I do say that. I say both. I say like. I emphasize the God part first because I'm like I understand not everyone believes the same thing, but I also emphasize like this is a free country. You don't have to do everything. And it's not a rule that you have to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So
Right.
it's like I don't stand for the national anthem at any event that I go to, whether it's a game or concert or whatever. Like if they do it, I choose not to stand because I don't want to stand for a country that sucks sometimes, a lot of the time. But yeah,
You heard that, NSA?
This marriage podcast is a lot of America shaming.
yeah.
Well, I always stand for our great country.
Listen,
No,
be
I'm not going now.
brainwashed, I don't care.
no, I'm kidding. That's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like, yeah.
it's a good exercising of your freedom.
And I,
Yeah,
and even though
which is
I'm,
what you should be teaching.
yes, and even though I'm not religious and I don't care about America, I never say no to the kids who do want to do the Pledge of Allegiance because I mean they care, they like
That is
America,
also
They'll
choice.
learn.
and they'll
Yeah.
learn eventually. Like I have a kid who this past year who parents are like in the military. He's like obsessed with America. He's like America this, and I'm like great. And he's like, do you like America? I'm like I like it sometimes. I had to be honest with him. I'm not gonna tell him. Yes, I love America. It's the
Yeah, that's
greatest.
good.
But I will say, like, oh, there are other countries that do things better than America that we can learn from. That's all I say.
Yeah,
Like, I
That's
don't get
fine.
into politics or
That's a
anything
good.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be honest.
I mean,
with
I think
kids.
it's completely okay to be like, as a person that loves America, I believe America can be better.
Yeah.
There's,
Oh yeah, the point of true love is wanting to improve.
Yes.
Whoever,
You
a
can't be
person,
blind
a
to
concept,
it.
a country.
Yeah.
You know, that's what should.
I think
Absolutely.
yeah. When we're talking about a country, yeah, about a person, I think there's also room for like loving them for
who they are.
yeah.
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 Well, that's
like
Oh, yeah.
improving. Like I need to improve you.
But it's
You know?
different if the country itself doesn't want to improve itself.
I
Like
can
the people in
change it.
charge.
I think a
Don't.
country can definitely you should try to be improving it always.
Right.
But I feel like the people in charge are not doing that or listening to the people who want change.
yeah,
but
because
besides
money's
the
good.
point. Yeah.
All right.
I think I'm closer to Tuhin, probably like in the middle, but closer to a small wedding.
Okay. I could see it. I feel like you two are very chillax, simplistic people. You're not like, oh, look at me. Let me do the fancy shit.
Yeah.
You know?
But I
Well,
also
like,
think
you also, like-
statistically, men generally choose a small.
Yeah, I think that's just probably
Celebration.
true.
Is
with
it
most-
well, is it because it's a lot more work to do a bigger wedding, or is it because you're just simple people? Because there's a difference.
I get jittery when a
laziness-
bunch of people look at me
Okay.
I
sometimes.
think
Yeah.
yeah, just we
That's fair,
don't
that's
want
fair.
That dude.
fanfare. Yeah.
Wait,
You
so
don't-
would you if you had a choice and I didn't say anything for the wedding, would you have done a simple wedding? Like none of
Well, it's hard to say this without the knowledge of our own wedding, and there's definitely things I want to change. So I don't know how.
Well,
to,
no,
I
I'm
can't
not
give
saying
an
like little
unbiased
changes. I'm
answer.
saying like you know how we had like technically 2 to 3 different events, various days.
I
big,
don't mind the
big
events. I
buildings.
minded the amount of people.
Oh, that
Right.
was out of our hands.
That was my biggest thing.
unfortunately.
And I would give that advice to anyone is like, make sure your wedding is about the people that love you and you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Not every single person you happen to bump into throughout your
Yeah.
life. Which,
I think that's what would also lead it to be closer to the small side.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
Well,
I think it's in our
Yeah.
culture to
Yeah.
invite everyone because
Yeah.
in some way you want to show off the accomplishments of your kids getting
Getting
married.
married.
Everyone
Yeah.
come and look at what
And
they're
when we
doing.
say we're talking about our
Spectacle.
parents. We're not talking
Spectacle,
about
yeah.
us.
But it's in our culture to show off.
Yeah.
To show
Yeah.
off in general
Yes.
is part of
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, not to fully bash our culture. I think there is a older time period to think about, like when people got married in villages. Like a village was essentially a family.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you would
Everybody-
You
invite,
knew everyone.
Yeah.
You actually
Yeah.
did know
Everybody
You
is
know,
technically raising those kids.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So you invite the whole
Yeah.
village.
Yeah.
But nowadays it is more of a show off thing.
I mean, it may have turned into that
It-
over
it-
time.
That's what I mean. Like
Right,
it's
right.
turned into that because like even for our wedding, my mom invited, or both of our, like his dad and my mom invited like a shit ton of people. If it was just our guest list, it would have been only, and I counted, it would have only been 80 people at our wedding.
Yeah.
80 people, which it ended up being 500 people because of our parents' guest list. And it's like family, friends, like aunties and uncles, and then
Yeah.
their kids. And then there's like the audacity of some family friends who did ask my mom or his dad, like, oh,
bring-
can I invite my sister who you've never met your children, never has been to America, but is coming into town. Can they come?
Yeah.
And like, because I told my mom no, because of that situation, that family, that auntie specifically is now like for the last 5 years have been shunning my mom because we didn't invite her sister who none of us have ever met
Yeah.
to our wedding. But I feel like it's turned into that whole like, oh, aunties and uncles expect an invitation to basically every single person that they've met's wedding. Like
Right.
I'm sure every auntie and uncle that has met you in your lifetime expects to come to your wedding, even if you don't remember them, don't know them. Your parents have maybe talked to them one time.
Yeah.
But like that concept is ridiculous because it's like the point of a wedding is to be surrounded by the people that love and care you and actually know you or you know them.
Yeah.
And it's just wild. Like I feel like Americans have that set, which is awesome. Like their weddings are always small because they only invite the crucial people in their lives. They don't invite their mechanic or their accountant or their friend's
You gotta invite the
sister.
mechanic.
Yeah.
Yo,
I think that's a pretty important one.
yo,
Who else gonna
Right,
fix your
right,
car?
right,
Who else
right.
gonna fix your car?
Right.
I'm
Especially
We
when you
all-
keep buying 2005 Toyota Camrys that break down.
that
Yeah.
uncle
Every
has
few
fixed a
months.
lot of our cars.
Or just buy a car that
Keep
won't break
buying
down.
cars from him.
Yeah, that's true too.
My conspiracy.
He's got good
He
business.
breaks
He's
the
got a
car
good
a
little
little.
business going
He
on.
breaks the car a little bit when he gives it to you, so you can come back to him.
Not every car from 1995 is supposed to still be around.
No.
It's funny when you see him, you're like, homie, you're asking to die.
All right, guys.
Oh,
This
I
was
had
a
a,
lot
had
longer
a,
than
I had
I-
a one more question.
Yeah,
What
see,
was your
that's why I
question?
gotta stop it.
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask you guys, do you think marriage is even necessary to be in a long-term committed relationship? Because I know we've discussed this before, where marriage might not just be the only end-all be-all for your life, but you do definitely love and care for Ganon and want to be with her for a very long time. I remember you telling me that, right?
dropping Conan on there.
It's okay. No,
Are we
no, no.
soft launching? Are we soft launching?
Soft launching. No, but you know what I mean. Like it's not. I feel like a lot of people have that misconception of like, oh, marriage has to be the end all be all when you're in a relationship, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have a healthy and loving relationship. Sometimes just being together is the marriage.
So you're asking if the idea of marriage is still realistic or needed in today's world?
I guess. Like, I'm asking more for like your guys because we're married. Like
Yeah.
you know, we're together forever kind of situation. But like for you guys, I mean, you're dating someone who you clearly love and want to be with for a long time, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to get married and like have to do all that stuff that everyone does just because it's like the social norm. Like you can be together and be happy forever.
Yeah.
Tax
My
benefits.
my question is, what's your opinion on that?
On all of it.
Yeah.
Tax benefits.
Yeah.
Aside
yeah,
from
like-
the tax benefits,
Aside from the land,
yeah, aside
The
from
house.
the land and the house and the benefits from the parents that you
the
get
political
apparently.
alliances and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I think like for some people, marriage is like a goal. like
Mhm.
I want to be married, and for other people it's like I want like a
It's just a step.
It's state of
fulfilling
life.
relationship.
Yeah.
And I think you don't need a marriage to have that, but oftentimes a marriage can enhance it or like
Or it can bring it
solidify it. Yeah, I think ideally like a marriage wouldn't impact the, I don't know, sanctity of that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
That makes sense.
I'm not saying like don't get married or
No,
get
yeah,
married,
yeah.
but
I think it's for each person. Like,
Yeah.
like you said, some people it's their goal. Like, I'm in a relationship, I want to be married to this person, and
Yeah.
then life goes on. And then some people, it's like, oh, well, we're already together forever. Why do more?
Why do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to a divorce lawyer on a podcast
Nice.
about this kind of stuff. Yeah. No, I know it sounds really bad, but like
No.
he actually like has a really good way of looking at it, and it's kind of like what you're talking about. Like if you're in a loving relationship, like if you truly love somebody, and I think this is my main takeaway is that like if you're gonna love somebody profoundly, because you know he's talking about like people put a lot of emphasis on the marriage aspect, but they don't put emphasis on the love and relationship aspect. So that's great business for him, but
Yeah.
at the same time, he's just like,
That's what I'm saying. People get married willy-nilly because they think, oh, well, we love each other. We should be getting
Yeah.
married. But that doesn't mean the relationship ends. That doesn't mean you stop trying. Like,
right.
people think, oh, once we're married, we don't got to try
Like,
anymore.
we're
We don't have to
done.
dress up. We don't have to go on dates. We don't need to do anything anymore together.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's still a relationship. You still have to keep going at it.
Right.
You're just choosing to be in that particular relationship forever.
Are you saying I should put on more makeup?
Yeah, okay, this was my very nice way of saying,
see how it
Wahib,
is.
you need to start putting concealer on. Your dark circles are too dark for me. I married a lighter
I let
skin
myself
man.
go, apparently.
But like, yeah, I still believe in the institution of marriage.
yeah, I guess that was the question.
Institution.
Well, no. It's
The
not believing in
sacredness.
it or not. It's more, it's
Like,
just-
do I want to do it or
Yes, like,
yes,
yeah,
I
okay.
do. And then like what Prithvi said, like it is not the end all be all goal
Yeah.
of a relationship. It is a stage in the relationship, and the relationship will always evolve, and you have to evolve with it, right?
Yeah.
How do you still show love and respect and care, and how that changes with from just being a couple to being parents to
Yeah.
being an older couple, whatever it be. Like,
Yeah.
you still have to put in the work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Whether it's, either way. And I love the concept that a lot of people are now like staying in long-term relationships and loving and caring for each other and communicating and building that relationship, but they're not like, oh, but we have to be married for it. Like, I respect it more because I feel like a lot of people back in the day, especially early 2000s, would be like, oh, we're in a loving relationship. If we don't get married, is this even real? Like, that's not fair. Like, it's still love. Like, and there's so many people who get married for the wrong reasons that it's not love. It's not what people who stay in long-term relationships are meant to do.
Heathens.
Right. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's just, and I keep going back to your guys' relationship because I love it so much, but like, you guys are, like care about each other so much. You're growing as people, but you're not like in this rush to be like, oh, we have to get married now. Like we're,
Yeah.
and I can respect that more than people who are like, oh, I'm
gotta do it.
25. I got married. Like,
Yeah. Biological clock's ticking.
yeah, or even biological clock, or like even that whole like, I gotta get to heaven. I gotta go get married. Like that's not what the purpose of being
Marriage
with another
is.
person. Like building that relationship and that trust and whatever. It's just wild.
But we also commented on people have different views on marriage. Some people don't see it as a love transaction. They might see it more.
Some
of
people
a
do see it as a cultural thing, or a
cultural
religious
thing, or maybe a religious thing. Two people,
or to
It is
appease
cultural.
their
People don't-
parents.
because in this world where we're learning more about sexual orientation and our
Mhm.
personalities and gender knowledge, there are people who don't see as they don't need a physical relationship. They might not even need a romantic one, but they just
That's true.
like companionship.
I do know a gay
Or they
couple that
like-
never fuck, so I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
no,
that.
legit. They just like make out. Like never.
Yeah, so maybe there's
I-
hetero couples that do the same thing.
Yeah.
They just like someone to be with.
Companionship.
Companionship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like asexualism is a real thing. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different people. But I guess the whole thing is if you and the other partner are on the same page.
Yeah.
That's usually how most marriages are successful.
Be on the
Right.
same page,
Yeah.
or at least close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah. You're never gonna
Adjacent.
You're never gonna
Same
find.
page,
Be
different
be
fonts.
willing to understand each other. I guess
Same
that's
page,
better.
different fonts. It's okay.
How you gonna have different fonts on the same page?
You just highlight and change the font.
I think we're talking about a book that's already written though.
Oh, well, can't you write it in 2 different fonts? Because when people are writing like...
This metaphor is getting out of hand. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
We established men are not literate.
Let's go back to our monster fucking books. Normal people.
The smut. I got a
On
good
that
one.
note,
Shout out.
Reba
Shout
has
out
to read
Iman.
some smut.
Shout out to Iman. Iman only reads those books because Rachda introduced those smutty books to him.
What kind of books is he on?
It's not even smut.
Smut.
It's not. That's the thing.
High
It's not.
fantasy.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not even smut, but it's like they're like fairies and fate. Like the Court of Thorns is what you're thinking of, right? Yeah. It was just a really popular book that everyone was reading by this author, and Iman read it too, and yeah.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's a good book. Yeah.
What's good about it?
It's the storyline.
Great
that's good.
visuals.
No. It genuinely is the storyline. Like if you actually read the book, because I've listened to it, and it's a really good storyline. It's just there is some
Now
smutty
you're
scenes.
listening to smut too. Just
It's better than catching you
reading smut,
watching porn.
listening smut, watching the smut.
No. It's not smutty at all. Like I think the
Next you're gonna
concept,
smell the
the
smut.
word smut
All
is supposed to be
senses.
like it's like sex in a book, right?
Like it's
Yeah,
the
it-
main premise.
Yeah, it's not the main premise of this book, but
I
people
see.
will make jokes and say because there's one scene where the guy makes out with the girl, it's smut. But that's not what smut is.
Is the guy like not human or something?
They're both fairies.
They're both fairies.
Yeah.
Well,
The book is a fantasy book. None of them are humans. technically.
Humanoid.
Yeah.
But
But
that's
some,
not a big deal. Like,
yeah, it's not.
Like
But
if two
it-
elves in Lord of the Rings are
But
making love,
what
that's
is-
not
That's
smut.
low tier smut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
just Orlando Bloom with some
Wait,
pointy
but-
ears
but
on.
Right, yeah.
I think if it gets
Which
farther,
people want
it's
it,
not
I think.
smut anymore. It becomes erotica. It's just because there's a difference between a book that has some sex scenes, that's smut,
Oh.
versus a book that's about sex, that's erotica.
You're right. You're
Right.
right.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
difference.
Those are
Like
different.
I would say, like 50 Shades is probably the most popular
Yeah, that's smut.
erotic book. That's
No,
Oh,
no,
it's
no,
not- it's not-
no,
it's not
but
but
the
that's
whole
not
premise
erotic.
was
It's not
erotic. It was sex though.
Okay, but that's the thing. There,
Oh.
It was like
It
about
was-
a power
it-
dynamic, right?
yes,
Like, it's
and
like
it was
a
Based on
about.
a
subdom.
It was
relationship.
about that kind of stuff. But when erotica is straight up like he took out his, thrive the
What-
Big
what-
brown
yeah.
Vegas
big brown
wedding.
Okay, from what I've noticed, from what I've read, is erotica will actually say the words penis and vagina and boobs and like breasts and stuff, whereas smut will kind of hint at it without
be a little
saying
proper.
it. Yeah, it'll be like his rock hard, like
Took out
his
his
pants
member.
got hard, or
Remember
like the touch of
the guy from the wedding?
like
The accent you're doing.
like it won't have actual words. Yeah, like that would be smut-ish. That's
So
Loki
it's
smut.
just
I thought that would be erotica.
No, but that's the thing.
I thought Raheem's experience with that man would be considered.
No, that's smut. That's Loki smut.
so,
Just-
the only difference is how
Gentle
how
giant touching
graphic,
him.
I guess
So
you
like
describe
how
it.
Yes,
explicit
yeah.
or overt.
yes.
Yeah,
It is.
how
Yeah.
overt.
Because like
Yes, it
in
is.
50 Shades of Grey, it's technically smut because they don't say the words like he took his penis out and thrust it inside of her. Like they don't say that shit in there. They innuendo it into it, but
Gotta
they
be
don't.
more figurative with the language.
Pretty much, and that is the difference
Show
because
that you passed English 3.
but that
Is
is a
shit
huge difference
docked
because erotica
in the port.
is really
is
intense.
descriptive.
Yes,
stuff.
it's very descriptive. And then if you get into manga, it's very different because there's smutty mangas and then there's erotica mangas.
Well, mangas is a visual medium, so
Yes,
yeah,
it's a
lot
very
That's
visual
different,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very
You're not-
different. Because like in mangas, you can actually see the thing out of the man, the thing. But like in other mangas that
Not
are
the ones
smutty, you don't see it. It's usually blurred out.
It's blurred.
Blurred or
In
like they're
manga?
like
Yeah, you
blurred.
can pixelate.
Blurred,
points.
pixelate, or like in the sense like sometimes they'll have like a glowing white circle around the area that's supposed to be. I'll show you. Reeves got some books.
Wait.
What? I didn't want to go there.
I do?
We both do.
Show me. Where am I?
Okay, I guess my books are smutty.
Or even has a treasure chest with a lock on it in the bedroom.
It just glows when you open it.
I put that light in there. Okay. It's a
Pulp
motion
Fiction briefcase.
motion light.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it glows red because smut.
Is there like a speaker that goes when you open it too?
No, it goes ah.
Oh,
Oh, so it changes every time you open it. Okay,
Dude.
It's a different moan every time you
engineering
open
feat.
it.
Just advanced
Yeah.
technology in this house.
I do it for him,
What?
for you, and your smut. That's on marriage, guys.
smut and erotica should have been its whole own podcast.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be just a Reba going through her book list. Like,
Pulling out books.
Yeah.
we'll call
You
him
should
on
read this
too.
one.
Get him on there.
Let me tell you the
FaceTime him
difference.
in.
Also, I just
Because
want
we
to
probably
point
spread a
out.
lot of misinformation. Iman's going to be like, no, actually.
I also want to point out, sexy characters does not make the book smut. Okay.
Yeah.
Like big.
Not every Nicolas Cage
The
movie
Twilight
is sexy,
phenomenon.
even though he's a sexy character.
He's so ugly. I don't understand. He
Don't
can't
hurt.
act.
Don't insult yourself like this. Love
Nicolas
yourself.
Cage can't act. He can't look good. He's
You never seen Con
his
Air.
hairline is higher than Rahib's, and that's
Con
crazy.
Air got women pregnant. That's how good Nicolas Cage
That's
is.
because they went to go fuck other men that were more attractive. Of course, they got other women pregnant. They said, "Oh my god, he's ugly as shit. I gotta go
They
fuck something good."
fainted over this man.
Hey.
Because he was so ugly. Yes, I agree. I agree. His hairline is higher than Rahib's. Okay, that's crazy.
I got my hairline. Mine's not even that high.
I know. I just had to say it. I had to
I'm
fuck with him.
self-conscious. Like, what the hell?
No, your hairline's fine. Don't look at mine. Mine is great. I don't lose hair.
Yeah, it just turns gray.
Actually, I have no gray hair.
I found a
either.
gray hair the other day.
Oh, you know, gray hair is not a sign of aging, actually, because it can happen at any age. It's the sign of your hair losing its pigmentation and its strength. You need more
Oh, great.
keratin and stuff in it.
You're just weak.
Even better.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not aging. I'm just weak for my age.
Yes. And if you don't eat the right vitamins and stuff, it's true. Your hair can go gray or faster. Because that's why there's like my mom is 60 something.
So you're weak and
She's-
malnourished.
Yeah. No, my mom is 60
some more
something and
sun.
she just like the last like 3 years is now starting to get gray hair. Whereas Rahib's like 20, only 30 and he has gray hair now.
I have gray hair, singular.
No,
Just one gray
I
hair.
literally see it all over your.
I got plenty.
I see it all over your
it's behind-
receding hairline.
No.
Are you
Like,
trying to come after me just because I gave her a compliment and she looks like Nicolas Cage?
that's not a compliment. It's
Wow.
the worst insult ever. In our 9 years
Can't
together,
appreciate anything.
our 5 years of marriage, this is the most insulting thing you've ever said to me.
Wow.
Nicolas Cage, really?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good.
Insults?
No,
Compared to
Also,
an
like, for
Oscar
marriage.
award-winning actor.
that's the only insult, you know.
He said a few
Yeah.
things, but this is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the worst.
Uh-huh.
Nicolas
So-
Cage? Seriously? You know what? You're my Ariana Grande.
But you like Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I do love her, but he doesn't. So
She's the worst.
he only hates her because I love her. But I actually genuinely always disliked.
I hate her
Nicolas
because
Cage
of her
before him.
Chinese menu item tattoo that she thought was
It
something
was
else.
Japanese, but okay, you're insulting the cultures.
She thought it was Japanese.
I think she was insulting the culture.
No, yeah, she was.
Yeah.
No, 100%. She literally
fried
is
rice on her
a
bag
dumb white
ass.
girl from America. She's not cultured at all. But I will
Ariana
say,
Grande?
yeah, Ariana Grande.
Is
She's
a
not
dumb
called-
white girl.
She's a-
Ariana,
she's a
get
dumb-
her.
No, I love her, but she's a dumb white girl sometimes. She does some stupid ass shit she shouldn't be doing. But I will say, I hated Nicolas Cage before meeting Rahib, so it has nothing to do with
Oh,
you.
yeah, because you understood that it was you the whole time. You look in the mirror, you see Nick. And that's why you can't stand it.
That's
I'm
why we
like
got the
looking at
pillow.
that right now. My nose is better. My eyes are not that droopy. His eyes literally go, ooh.
We're not
Like-
saying you look like him.
That's exactly what he's saying.
On the inside.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was more about the
And every
mannerisms.
man,
So you think I'm
there's
ugly
two
inside?
wolves in a Reba. There's just Nicolas Cage.
I'm trying to suffocate him, but he's not dying. At least I don't want to see him dead. Just Trump.
No. All right, guys. Thank you for watching today's episode. We did not attempt anything or any relation to any attempted
Wait, yeah.
assassination of anyone.
Of course, we
Yep.
didn't do anything. We just wish.
No.
No!
Not us. Not us.
We're
Only
not-
in private.
Not like us.
Nope.
No.
Are we gonna get in trouble for that? That it's a free country. We're allowed to say we don't like anybody and want. people
Ariba,
dead.
you're a teacher.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it to my students.
No.
You think my Republican ass
saying, be
teachers at
careful.
school don't say shit? Oh, okay.
They don't say shit
No,
on podcasts.
You don't understand. I have coworkers at school who have said shit in front of kids that they should not be saying. Things about politics and like people should be voting for Trump and Black Lives Matters shouldn't matter. Like in front of students. So I don't think I can get in trouble if they can't.
That's what they say.
But-
until you get in trouble.
Don't
I
want to
am
assume
not.
it. Yeah.
That's true. I'm not white, so I guess I could get in trouble.
This is gonna live on the internet forever, never, never.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Unless Rahib deletes it
No.
from request.
And then I make a reel out of it. I'll make a reel out of this.
Unless
No,
the
you can't
NSA
do that.
takes it down for evidence.
for evidence. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to this very long 2-hour podcast
That's a good podcast.
about
Damn.
marriage.
about a lot of things.
Love is important.
Love is important.
Love is
Love,
important.
smut, and Nicolas Cage.
No.
Yo,
Truth
that's
the
a
World.
movie I'd
That's
watch.
a movie.
No,
That's
no,
a
no.
movie.
I want to be in that
It's a
movie.
documentary
Cage.
about Nicolas Cage's life,
I love this country.
all the love and
So
what he's
sweet.
been through. No.
And on that note, we'll sign off. I'm Rahib T. Zaman. We have Prithvi Tuhin and Nicolas Cage. See y'all next time.
Bye.
Plays out.
Hey guys, Rahib here. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button to get a notification whenever there's a new video. If you want to support the channel, check out the merch shop as well as the Buy Me a Coffee page and the Patreon page to get monthly benefits such as exclusive BTS content, unedited podcasts, and early access to all the videos. All the funds help grow the channel and keep it afloat, so any and all help is appreciated. All the links are in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.